A few data points coming through here. Building permits, first off, for the month of March, 1.482 million versus 1.4 million expected there. Initial jobless claims also coming through here, 215,000 at 8:30 there versus 227,000 expected. Ongoing claims, 1.8 million versus 1.89 million expected there. So a little bit of a downtick on the continuing side, but everything else to the downside. That's pretty much it as far as Philly Fed just coming through there as well. Not typically a market mover, but worth noting, 51 on the Philly Fed prices paid for April. That's really it as far as economic data for this week. Remember, holiday coming up tomorrow. Market will be closed. We are going to hear from Fed's Bar coming up at 11:45 today, and then later on, a couple other Fed speakers to come after the close, after what happened yesterday. I'm sure they'll have a lot to say. If you missed it, yeah, it was, there's Hertz, by the way, going crazy once again this morning. We'll get to that in a second. But if you missed it, it was quite the afternoon for the overall market after Fed Chair Powell comes out and says, tariffs are a problem, let's be honest, and could cause inflation to go back to the upside once again and, really hinder what they have done over the past year and change, in addition to what they're planning on doing going forward here. So we'll see. I mean, Trump follows up immediately this morning and essentially says, you're fired, or your firing cannot come fast enough here for Fed Chair Powell. So the back and forth has begun.
And don't forget, Brendo, he gave him a new nickname now. He had been unnicknamed, and now he is now nicknamed Mr. Too Late. He's been endowed with that name. So thank you, Donald Trump. Lots to talk about today, guys. UNH almost down 20%, over 20% here in the pre-market. NVIDIA looks like Jensen's out in China, and he is trying to kind of settle things after that whole H20 debacle, Brendo. Lilly up aggressively on that weight loss pill. We'll keep an eye on that. Microsoft getting a downgrade. Taiwan Semi reporting. Meta, Zuckerberg took the stand again yesterday. More information on that. We'll get to that. And then you mentioned Hertz, obviously, Pershing Square taking a big position. Yeah, huge move after the close yesterday. We'll touch on that, I'm sure, coming up. Oil, I don't know if you noticed on your way in this morning, but $1.30. Yeah, 130. Nice. Back to 130 here. Oil 2-week highs here on this U.S.-Iran sanction story this morning as well. So we'll keep an eye out on some of the energy names, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Here you had to fill up yesterday or over the weekend, but look, over the last week. What's crazy about that Powell drop that I think everyone's talking about, or was all the rage, if you look right at the end of the day, like NVIDIA ended up higher than when Powell was speaking. It's not like not every name did this, but it was pretty big of a rally, and extending and then gapping even higher. So right at the end of the day, we ended up higher on a few names than when Powell kind of tanked things. NVIDIA ended up closing. It's actually green right now, so that's going to be in play, obviously. I mean, with Jensen Huang in China, they're caught between a rock and a hard place. And TSM good, their guidance was good and brought all the chip names up. Sans Intel, we'll get to that because they're actually to the downside because TSM said they're not interested, and all of those stories that they are have been a lie. So the chip names always in play for sure. The other thing to keep an eye on. Chinese names are gapped up on air. I mean, there's no real big story that has them gapped up. So I'm a little bit skeptical as usual for a lot of them. Remember, of course, with a holiday shortened week, today is the last day of the week. That means you're going to have options expiration and you're going to have the close. Usually have a little bit more activity. And the open, I think, is going to be a little bit more volatility than the average Thursday. You got to think of it like a Friday in here today. So lots of movement. I think that rally late in the day kind of got, not ignored, but you didn't realize how far it pushed if you didn't look at a few charts. Randy in the house.
Randy's in the house. He's got the bananas. Sharif was upset because he couldn't see any bananas up in there. Thank you.
To go with do you see the quiche? Yeah. So we get like, there's catered breakfast and everything. The quiche in parchment paper without the pastry. But is it really, like, if it's not quiche if you don't have, it's like a little weird egg bite thing in parchment paper.
It's called crustless vegetable quiche.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never done that before. It was awkward. Awkward to eat. Yeah. It's really awkward because too much of it falls apart.
Vegetable quiche.
It was a fail. It was a fail.
I actually much prefer that to the normal quiche.
So more effort.
On weekends, take the little mini muffin trays midweek. pour your eggs and your peppers and your onions and all that stuff in there. I told this to Adara, put them in the oven, and then Saturday morning, boom.
Yep,
Awesome
exactly.
little breakfast.
I just make an easy omelet in the morning.
They're portable, you know. You just, muffin trays, eggs, and it works.
Get your breakfast ideas right here live at Trader TV Live.
Yeah, there you go.
And what a great way to spend your weekend.
Always.
Crustless quiche.
You don't want a coffee, right?
No, I got one. I just got one. I do not. I just put one right in here. I got the Yeti.
Always a Yeti.
I thought they were pretty good, man. They had little full of veggies.
Oh, my thing is it's a fail because I always have the one day ahead. We're not here tomorrow, so I need the second one here today.
Yeah, we're not here. Wow, NASDAQ bumping up a little bit.
The NASDAQ's been...
Good jobless claims number. I mean, lower than expected, so that's good. So Powell doesn't have to worry about that.
Finally.
I mean, I was saying this yesterday. Powell's days are obviously numbered, and now it becomes obvious. So we'll wait to see. He's supposed to be gone May of 26. He'll be gone earlier than that. Here's Taiwan Semi. Again, up 3%, so that's really nice to hear. I mean, we would have, a double beat everywhere and a good guide for TSM. So this is going to be on my radar today for a trade, that's for sure. Down here at 153, it's already on the sticky note. We're ready to go with TSM. TQs, man, I mean, the NASDAQ bumping up 1% is real nice. Here's UNH with absolutely horrible numbers there today. Probably bounces back a little bit. It feels like it's way... like 20%, an absolute monster to the downside. And we'll talk about that as that goes from 580 down to 470, basically giving back this whole monster run that it's had pretty much all year. I mean, we had the little dip down and then boom, right back to support. So we'll see if it can hold in and around here, 440, 430, but maybe the business is now broken. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then what's being affected by this, as we just see the NASDAQ, of course, absolutely rip city right now are the diamonds. So the Dow is the one that's getting hit the hardest right now, Dow 1.2% on the back of having 30 stocks in it. And one of them, one of the bigger ones, UNH, taking this one down. And then, I don't know, I was looking at Intel as well. That's still underneath 20 bucks. So that's underneath 19 it was. So that's down 1% as well. So yeah, I mean, what has changed is still the same. So, we'll have to just keep on playing some of these plays. And you mentioned also that AMD there. Well, you mentioned NVIDIA, but yeah, quite a nice run at the end of the day yesterday for many of these chip names and just the market in general. But like at 330 there, boom, like this name got from $85 up to $88, like $3 in a straight line there for advanced micro devices. So maybe there's something here as well back into the 200 period, which would be 88. So we can wait to see if there's anything going on with AMD, but I kind of like that move yesterday. A little bit of a cheaper name to trade that does have some giddy up to it. So we'll see if AMD can get going here today as well. It's only 838 right now. No market tomorrow, so that's going to be interesting. We talked about Hertz a little bit there as well. I know people in the chat will want to go over that, so we will do that with Pershing Square and Bill Ackman. Palantir's on my mind. There's lots of stuff going to be traded here today.
Oh, for Wayne Griffin in the chat, the market does not close early today. It's a holiday tomorrow, but there's no early close or anything here today. Just it's Good Friday, and so obviously, if you try to tune in tomorrow, we're not going to be here because the U.S. markets are closed. But yeah, no early close. They only do that twice a year. It's they do like the Thanksgiving.
What's the
other one?
Christmas Eve?
Is it July 4th?
July 4th?
No, Christmas Eve.
I think July 4th should be
I think it's just
the
the Christmas Eve then.
Yeah.
It's just only twice a year.
Not tonight.
This
Not
doesn't
today. Thanksgiving.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, back to the desk.
All right, back to the upside here right now to the tune of about 1% here for the NASDAQ. We're back at 450, so we'll keep an eye on that. Why don't we touch on this UNH disaster here today? What a move here this morning. 588 down to 470 here coming off earnings for United Health.
They're blaming the baby boomers, Brendo.
Of course.
The baby boomers are taking too much of their money. No, I'm being serious, guys. So the deal here is just let me load up my notes over here. So it looks as if spike in Medicare demand from seniors on Medicare Advantage plans are driving cost overruns. The costs for 2025, as previously predicted, are no longer accurate, so they're above planned increases. The trend continues that we saw from late 2024, and so that's led to decided reshuffling of the EPS. So they were previously forecasting $29.50 to $30 earnings per share for the full year 2025. That's been revised down markedly, Brendo, about $4 to the downside, about 26 bucks.
Yeah, massive to the downside here for UNH. Obviously a very highly priced stock, so we'll keep an eye on it. So far, not a lot of volume behind it as expected. 3% meanwhile for Taiwan Semi here, back to the upside. They said they expect AI chip revenue to double in the remainder of this year. So nice bump here for TSM.
A ridiculous look, Brendo. Their net income increased 60% year over year on the back of AI, 5G. So we'll talk more about the revenue, the beat, the EPS beat. But really, what kept my eye, got my attention, I should say, is the denial by the CEO of any joint venture with Intel. That had been rumored. There was a story floating around April 3rd from The Information claiming that TSMC and Intel were in preliminary talks for that joint venture. That's been kind of put the kibosh on that yesterday on the earnings call.
Remember just a couple days ago, it was AMD that came out and said they want to get in on the U.S. manufacturing side along with TSM. So 1% here, guys, for AMD so far this morning.
Yeah, the chips like what they saw. I mean, the TSM basically was telling you, if not for all this tariff stuff, things are starting to look maybe a little bit better for the semis. The semis had been struggling before we had a little of this tariff melee there. But I wanted to give first a big shout out and a happy birthday to Mr. Westermeyer, member for 27 months, but on your 50th birthday, reflecting on recent years, your show ranks in my top 5 experiences. Thank you for being such an amazing family. Thank you for being a part of the family. We appreciate you so much. Enjoy, for sure. Hope you celebrate with the fam and have a great one there, brother. And hopefully we have a great update today. I mean, we all have more fun when the markets go up. TSM was another example of, hey, did you notice that it ended up higher than when Powell was talking and drove the markets down? Again, it wasn't a small pullback or bounce, I guess we had, a bounce that we had in here. And what's great about it, okay, the daily charts, the daily charts still have your old death cross and they don't look that good because of how bad it's been. No, but what's great about it is it's right back above a prior support. So if I was looking at it this way, I'm probably not going to trade TSM, but I know I'm going to trade Intel and NVIDIA. When I see TSM, it's like a bellwether because it's part of the reason why we're gapping up. 154 support. If we're losing a 154 in support, then I don't really want to be in a chip. I don't want to be in the chips long. That's the way I'm kind of framing it here today. I do like NVIDIA. I think if you look at the overnight on Blue Ocean, it was like 103 to 103.5 was the support level. So that's the first place I would look for a dip there. You're not through the waters just yet, I don't think. And yeah, great look by TSM. And as I said, when you look at the daily charts, it's a little bit of a blip. Really, any move up that we have in here, because we've just been consolidating the gains off the highs. So I think until proven otherwise, like we're playing inside these ranges. If we can start breaking out, when some of these names start breaking out those tops, then we'll start to see like time kind of percentage move ups that we want to. But for now, it's still a little bit range bound for me, but that 154 goes, and I don't want to be fighting chips to the long side.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a different look right here. I have TSM as the #1 trade for me today. So I'm actually going long. I hope 154 does break because my long is going to be 153. So I'm waiting to get long right into here at the 200 period moving average. I don't remember the last time we saw a stock beat and beat again and raise. So especially in this beat up sector, I mean, I don't necessarily believe that it's going to be popping crazy here. I mean, I like to wait for some chip names, and I don't think it's even a buy in the long term. But I think for today, it's up 3%. It's sort of telling you it wants to go higher. And if we lose it, we lose it. But for me today, TSM going to be the #1 trade on the book, and we'll wait to see if it does anything. Yesterday's closing price 152. So I think if we layer into this thing at 153, we can get out of it in and around 152. We'll see what winds up happening there. But yeah, TSM, a big trade, hopefully today for me. And then there we go here. Everything today is a sell. Sell Walmart. Sell everything on here. The only thing is RF is the only buy coming in there right now. So Uber a sell, Schwab a sell. Every single thing today is a sell. So we'll see if there's any relief in the imbalances once we get hit. But yeah, so I don't know. I just I like the stock. We've been playing this way for a while. It's a beat. I don't know what their expected numbers, what the expected move was, probably not 3%, but at the end of the day, it is a 3% move higher. It's nice to see that. It's good to go in the space. I'm long Taiwan semis as our #1 trade idea there today. So I'm sure it will be on the watch list as we keep talking about it. But yeah, Eli Lilly, going to be another one to look at today as well. Up to 824 right now, up 12%. I mean, we knew this was that wonder drug, and it looks like now it's going to get approved for more. So we'll see about, I don't know. I mean, 900 I think is in spot. Not now, not today, but I think we can get back up to there. You know, again, another good report. You're always waiting to hear about these trials and what the results are. Eli Lilly bouncing pretty nicely off of, again, you know, you look back, like this is where we were last year. So Eli Lilly does nothing for the full year, and then you get your 12%. And they say in the stock market, like all the gains are made in a couple of days in the year. And if you miss those rallies, then you miss those rallies. And I wonder if that's true of Eli Lilly, because we could have been buying in and around here. So we'll see if it gets back up into the 900 level. Good name there. UNH going one way, Eli Lilly going the other. Fabian, what's up? I mean, tell me are we going over to Adara? Do we have our guest? There we go. Back.
Sharif and I were just talking about Tesla here, back to the upside so far this morning, 244, I guess, coming into play. 1% here for Tesla this morning after a huge dump. We did, similar to some of the other tech names, recover a little bit of that late in the day. I mean, not necessarily a specific Tesla story, but there is this SpaceX angle today. Apparently, there's rumors flying around that I saw that Trump is going to award SpaceX with this Golden Dome missile defense contract. Hasn't happened yet.
Nope. I love the name, though.
Delivering the news.
Feels like the Taj Mahal or something going on over here. So yeah, here it is, Brendo. It's going to be SpaceX, Palantir, Sean, Anduril as well. These are the front runners right now bidding for Donald Trump's Golden Dome missile system. The project involves building about 400 to 1,000 satellites for tracking missiles and 200 attack satellites. Brendo, SpaceX is proposing a subscription service model. Interesting. I like this. Estimated at about $6 to $10 billion for the satellite development. 180 companies, including Boeing, RTX, Lockheed Martin. The usual names are all interested, with the latter three, SpaceX, Palantir, and Anduril being the leaders.
I wonder what the monthly is on that type of a contract. But yeah, we'll see who ends up with that. Let's go over and get some analyst moves here from Adara.
Canadian Solar kicking things off here, up about 2%, almost 3% here with a Citigroup upgrade. Citigroup also upgrading Generac this morning. Intuit basically flat this morning, but they are getting an upgrade here from Scotiabank, and Yeti getting an upgrade from KeyCorp. On the downgrade side of things, we start with a pretty interesting one here. Coinbase up on the morning here, but getting a downgrade from Rosenblatt Securities with a still pretty generous $290 price target. Then we have Block now trading as XYZ, getting downgraded by Bank of America. CSX with a downgrade from Bank of America as well. Bank of America on here one last time downgrading Regeneron. So lots of Bank of America downgrades today. Some interesting names on both sides of the board, guys.
Yeah, we saw yesterday some decent, before we had that Powell pullback, we saw some decent strength, not decent, really good relative strength in Bitcoin. We're still kind of hovering underneath 85,000, but coin, death cross aside, since the death cross on coin, you've actually made a decent bottom and recovered, but that's neither here nor there. You're just very, very inside range on coin. So as things coil up like this, and there's a lot of charts that'll look this way, but I think with the strength that we've seen in Bitcoin, I'll be interested if Coinbase can break out these highs. It might not be a today thing, but when you see a chart like that, and it's got this decent size gap to 200 and the 50-period moving average, this breaks out this local high. It's about 184 or something like that on the week. You break through this, and I think you've got some room to rally. And it does start with the fact that you've had some decent carry in crypto. What I liked about, until we had Powell, what we liked about Bitcoin for most of the day was it was just trending up with relative strength compared to the overall market. Like you saw, even on pullbacks in the market, Bitcoin was going higher and higher. Eventually, it got dragged down with everything else. I think that can continue today. Like one breaks through the other, Bitcoin breaks a local high, Coinbase can get dragged with it. Whether or not that we have the juice for that to happen today, it doesn't really seem like it, but you throw an alert for a Coinbase, maybe $10 higher. If it does get there next week, I like that break.
Yeah, Crypto 84.7, not doing a whole heck of a lot. Hey, what's up, Randy? Randy's got that coffee
Chilling.
going on right now. Yeah, so for me, it's all about Palantir today. It's going to be, so we've talked about TSM as my number one idea. Number two idea is going to be Palantir here at 93. It's closed at 93 yesterday. Any dip buy opportunities in Palantir today needs to be bought up. It's already up 2%. So yeah, man, we really like the stock here. We like all that talk. We like the Golden Dome. We like everything about Palantir. You know, if the market wants to go, it's an easy sort of long. We've seen it rip before. Palantir today with the Golden Dome is something that I'm looking long with. So I don't know, Randy. I like PLTR, and you like XOM?
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, just don't zoom out. Yeah, not a bad week at all for XOM, as we talked about oil and energy going back up to the upside right there. What, it's $100, isn't it, XOM right now? Was it 102?
5 now.
Something like that. 105. Okay, so yeah, nice move up there as Randy is very interested. Were you able to buy any on the dip there, Randy?
Not.
Right, exactly. So we did get to that $100 mark there on, yeah, it was also Chevron as well, but we do get a nice little bump up there today. We were talking about I filled up for 111.9. In my area, it's still like 116 right now. Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Over the weekend.
But the thing is like, this is what I was saying before. Like, we sit here and we wonder about 5 cents per liter. Most tanks are 60 liters. Okay, 100 liters. So even if you have 100 liters times 5 cents, that's $5. Just don't buy a coffee today and don't worry about the gas price. But you know what? $5 a week shouldn't really affect most for drivers.
You'd be very surprised.
Well, then they're wasting their money on a lot. They're wasting their money on a lot of
surprised.
things. I would be very surprised.
Some of the statistics on like, you know, a lot of people, you live check to check, the percentage that you're paying on travel, commuting, and then housing, and then you look at like how expensive the phone is or the flat screen TV. There's a lot of things that would surprise you about consumer behavior, especially in North America. So, yeah, I don't get surprised by any of that at all.
Yeah, that would shock me. I mean, people at $5 a week. I mean, look, it might be a lot for some, but I would just think there's obviously other areas that we need to worry about. I mean, look at the price of fast food and all that kind of crap. The same people that complain about $5 a week are throwing their money away and wasting their money on so many other things. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, you're right. $5 a week could affect some people. All right, let's go back over to the desk. It's Google on my mind right now as well, but XOM might be something with some oil plays here as well. Oh no, Joe got the haircut. There it is. Oh, you talked about that.
Well, he said he was getting the haircut.
Talked about that yesterday.
We knew.
All right, let's go back over. Yeah, exactly. People have money for smokes. Yeah, I know. It's absolutely ridiculous. But we'll go on. All right, let's go. Nvidia, everything moving around right now. Good jobless claims number at least, starting to have the market hold some of these levels. We're holding VWAP for right now. Yeah. My portfolio is getting a big time haircut. I don't know.
That's how it is.
I might start to buy something today. I don't know. We'll see about it. We'll talk.
Today's probably, if you're looking to buy the Dow, just the simple fact that the Dow being price weighted is just weird. So obviously UNH is like a significant percentage of it, and less now. It was probably like 8, and now it's less than 8%. But it's probably a decent opportunity.
I was saying to buy the Dow.
To pick it up, just for the simple reason that, hey, it's over. Any drop in the Dow is going to be over. Extended relative to UNH, and UNH is at a level that it's typically historically bounced from as well. So, yeah, that could be a little bit of something in there. But we haven't got any good news just yet. We get economic data, which has been good all week. Hopefully, it'll actually lead to a green day this time. We've had good numbers. We've had good numbers all week long, economically. So the question is, do we actually rally off of that? We're 1%. I'd love to see 2 on a number like this morning.
We might be up this week. All right, see you guys.
We'll talk Hertz here real quick. 26% right now. Just took out the highs once again. As far as the last little bit, we're not quite back to pre-market highs. 760, 775 was the pre-market high here. If you missed it this morning, Bill Ackman disclosing what was it, almost 20% stake in Hertz Global via a 13F filing. So I mean, this thing's trading dollars at a time. It seems like at this point, just wild.
Yeah, Brendo. He picked up 4% by the end of 24. The fund has increased its position, as you mentioned, about 20%, using both shares and swaps, so not just equities alone, becoming the second largest shareholder of Hertz. Ackman's firm secured this SEC exemption. You mentioned it, 13F. It's colloquially called the confidential treatment request, so to speak, allowing them to build their position quietly. And however you feel about that. that's interesting there. 56% was the move up yesterday on that news. And just to give you an idea here about Hertz's financial position, they reported a $2.9 billion loss for the full year in 2024. The loss includes $245 million hit in Q4 related to the Teslas they bought, Brendo, which devalued quite aggressively.
And then they immediately got rid of once again because no one apparently wanted to rent one of them. But yeah, I mean, Bill Ackman obviously sees something here, guys, for Hertz.
Speculation at the bottom on Hertz makes a heck of a lot more sense now.
This is just
Look,
rigged.
it is what it is. Like, it's
Such a bad.
the crazy thing about it is, and we were talking about it with Sharif and I were discussing this morning before we came on, and we talked about this in the aftermarket show. Someone's like, Neil, you're hating. I wasn't hating on Ackman. All I'm simply, you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's the phrase that this reminds me of. Because if you want to have your celebrity investor or whatever it is, activist investor, the benefit of when you buy something and people find out about it, it goes up, like the Buffett effect. If you want to have that, then you should also have to deal with the fact that people know you're accumulating and they can join you and you might have to pay a higher price. To me, that fairness would have to go hand in hand. That said, the other thing I was saying is if markets were exactly the way that everybody wanted them, they would be much more boring and trading wouldn't be as good in a general sense. Maybe not in this particular case, but in a general sense. So at the end of the day, try not to complain too much about it. At the same time, when you see a stock like this bottom for that long, it bottomed so long that it regained the major moving averages without doing anything. Like, that's crazy. Like, it was able to not even move up effectively and break the 50 and the 200 period moving averages. I don't wonder if you see that much accumulation. Sometimes it's just maybe worth a shot because the risk to reward was just so low. That said, today, I saw in the chat a lot of people were honed in on the $6 level, which I agree with, just because that's where it dipped in the afternoon. Like when we saw that big move in the aftermarket, the buyers came in twice at $6. They came in early at 580 to 6, and they came in a little bit later towards the ends of the aftermarket show to bounce it again at the 586 level. So if you get on any dips, VWAP is always important on these types of plays, but also factor in that 580 to 6 level. It was like a 39% short float when we checked it last night. How much of that is covered, who knows? For their own sake, hopefully some of it, because it seems like a bit of a squeeze play that just started out. So yeah, that 580 to 6 level is the key one. It's already bounced off there once on Hertz.
All right, look, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Ackman's out already. So if you guys want to join all of this, that's great. I mean, I think he'll probably take that 20% and run. So this is
trading show on the planet.
All right. Did that go on purpose? Yeah, no, I didn't. Okay. So just this there it is, Sharif. Just this bottom here, like I was saying, I mean, it's great when you can make an investment, come out and announce it, and then have this kind of a move higher. So, I mean, I don't know when Bill Ackman and Pershing Square will file when they're out of this, but mark the date down, 4/17. You'll probably see a big chunk of that gone now. So they've got the bump up, and then it's time to run away. We saw the very, very similar thing happen in Fannie Mae with this guy. And it's just whatever, talk, and then, who knows where they're going to dump this thing out either. We had a huge move. You're going to see it right from here. This is where, I mean, he did the same thing again. Talked up Fannie Mae, got this huge bump up. Now it's doing this. So my guess is probably selling somewhere near the top and probably dumping it on everybody when it breaks lower. So I don't, it's par for the course. He did the same thing with Fannie Mae. And look, the research is behind it, right? They have great cases for why they want to buy these names. And I think if we want to jump on board with it, that is fine too. But I would rather pay for shorts and right now look to see about a sell in and around this $8 mark. So we'll see about that. Remember, just because Bill Ackman's, there's just as many, activists out there that know what the playbook is. So if it gets to key levels, I feel like, other traders will sell into Bill. So I feel like $8 is a great opportunity to get short on Hertz. And yeah, where you want to buy it, I mean, I hear everybody now is using this 200 period moving average. So yeah, $6 I think would also be a good spot to look to pick up some Hertz, and then when it breaks it, you get out. We talked about Webull yesterday. This could be another name that starts to move around. I was nervous. We said this if we got under 40. So we are, it wasn't Webull under 40. It was another one. But Webull right here today. No, maybe it was Webull. Let me see what it did yesterday at $40. Yeah, so it was, I don't know if it was Webull or not, but yeah, right there, $40 was a pretty key level there. We did get under that near the end. Yeah, so I think maybe it was. We got under Webull underneath that $40 mark, and we're still under 40. So for me, I was looking at this. I just was thinking if it was this name or another name, but as this name is setting up right now, I like a short or at least a look at this at $40. I mean, up 6% and had that nice move. And we know that there's that Chinese tie there brought to you by Fox. So we'll figure out if this can hold $40 or not. Even if it breaks it, I don't think it goes higher than 43. So watch out for Webull today, another potential fade. I think the market is potentially a green day here for the market, but we did have all of these sell imbalances. It's just 9 o'clock now, but all these sell imbalances are lining up to hit the market early. So maybe we drift into the open and able to pick up something on the cheap, like a Palantir down here at $93 is where we're looking. So yeah, it should be good. I want to sit back and watch a little bit of the open here, but lots of names to discuss. Taiwan Semi's my number 1 play. Palantir's my number 2 play. Then we got the TQs ready to go, and then we've got Google. So those are the 4 names that I'll be looking at here today, along with hopefully like a Hertz or something else that may rip around. CoreWeave was another one that had that $40 key there. That was 39. I'll call it up.
I have it up.
Yeah, someone just talked about. What is it at?
41.5 now.
Okay. So
I was hoping this would give us the bounce off 36, which was the all-time low. Well, I mean, it hasn't been around long enough. But it's low, I think, a couple of days after with 36. That's where I wanted to try to play a bounce.
A good bounce.
But it's good that I'm happy the market's bouncing, but this was one that we wanted to see if we could get on a discount. Damn.
All right. I mean, the other aspect of this is, you and I were just talking about this, like this is the guy that's also really, really heavy in Nike right now.
Exactly.
Bill Ackman. So, I mean, we'll see how this Hertz thing plays out. Let's get a look at the market.
5304, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES June contract. We're above it right now, about 53.25 with the overnight high being 53.71. Excuse me. The overnight low 52.93. So we'll just say 5,300, guys, as support. If we continue moving up, we're going to look to that overnight high at 71, 53.71. That is, Brendo, as resistance.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab the absolutely free watch list. Comes out every single morning before we come on at 8:30. All you have to do is jump down to the description of this video. Top link there will get you to the sign up page and then enter your email address. You get that sent to you every single day. Top of said list this morning is UNH. Down huge here today, 18.5%. We just had a nice little pop back to 475, but pretty disastrous report here in forecast specifically.
That's really, really an ugly chart there, Brendo. So here's the deal. They slashed their 2025 profit forecast between $26.50 down from that previously stated $29.50 to $30. Wall Street was looking for $29.73, so towards the higher end of their range. As you mentioned, shares plunged 20% in the pre-market, dragging down the Dow futures, as well as some industry peers like CVS, Cigna, and Humana all were down about 4 to 9% each respectively. Rising medical costs here are the issue. So their spike in medical care demand from specifically seniors and the baby boomer generation on Medicare Advantage plans are driving cost overruns. The costs for 2025 are already well above the planned increases, which were already in the contingency plans. CEO Andrew Whitty said the company didn't meet internal expectations and cost cutting and restructuring is certainly on the way.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a typical stock, day trading type of stock. Usually trades quite illiquid and therefore has a huge range. Not a lot of volume here this morning either, but we are back to some long-term levels here for UNH.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big time. Maybe we've already done a bounce that doesn't get us right down into that low. Look, it's obviously going to open up down over 10%. So it'll be SSR. Uptick rule is going to be in effect off the open. I have a weekly chart up on my e-signal just to show you for what 440 has been like. We've talked about this level before. This is where it has been bouncing for quite some time. You're going all the way back to 2022. This has been bouncing off the $440 level. But as a look at the chart will tell you, you tested a 460 low, and we've already broken through VWAP. Sometimes that means the relief rally is already on from this level. I'm always willing to be patient. I believe it was the most recent example of something like this was when CrowdStrike had gapped down, and there was a really good SSR play in CrowdStrike. I ended up kind of like having chased the move, so I chased the move and took smaller size because I was too far from the low. But I'm going to look for any push down that gets us to 450. So you're in that target range of 440 to 450, and then I'm looking for an SSR bounce. It might not happen, but I remember on CrowdStrike, like it was like a bad trade was making like $3 or $4 on CrowdStrike when it happened. So I feel like being ready for it here on UNH, if we get a test of that level, I'll just have it up, and if we get there, we get there. If we don't, then I probably don't trade UNH because that's the only setup that I would look for UNH. Historically, I used to be a buyer in my long-term account at this level. I don't dabble in the stock anymore. Fundamentally, it looks a little bit worse, as Sharif was already talking about, and there's obviously for other reasons, their business is being highlighted a little bit more negatively there. But yeah, if it's not an SSR bounce, and if it's not 440 to 450, I'm probably not long this thing.
Eli Lilly, on the other hand, back to the upside this morning to the tune of about 12%. Again, yes, it's an $800 stock. Again, it's going to trade pretty liquid, but worth noting here. Decent earnings coming from Lilly.
Not bad at all, Brendo. I'm going to try and say this name of the drug. It's hard. Or for Gilpron trials.
Well done.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Patients did lose, though, despite the fact that I can't pronounce it. Patients did lose 7.9% of body fat, around 16 pounds on average, at the highest dose, Brendo, over 40 weeks. There was no plateau observed, which should suggest that you could continue your weight loss if you stayed on the drug. The side effect profiles are kind of normal here. Vomiting, nausea, diarrhea. I feel like a commercial
sounds amazing.
On the American networks, okay? So decent there. Analysts expected slightly worse tolerability versus the weekly injectables like Ozempic. If you compare this to Novo Nordisk's injection of Ozempic, the pill underperformed slightly on blood sugar reduction, but matched it on weight loss. Eli Lilly's pill outpaces Rybelsus, that one I can pronounce, by not requiring dietary restrictions, Brendo, and not being a peptide, which allows for easier absorption as well as easier manufacturing.
Just go back to the side effects slide there.
Oh yeah, you want to see this one? Oh boy, 14% experienced
I guess
vomiting.
They're not high. Like the numbers aren't terribly high.
They're not great. Yeah,
but still, like that's not pleasant.
No, it's not. I don't want to vomit. I don't want the other one there from the other side.
I don't know anyone. I was like, I actually don't know anybody. Well, I might know. Maybe I do know somebody that's using GLP, and I just don't know. But I don't know anybody for sure that's using any of those. But what I can here, we'll talk about. Look, Eli Lilly. When you look at the daily chart, I mean, look, $700 on Eli Lilly. It's been bouncing off there into the highs a couple times. Before this recent bounce, I did sell once and rebuy and sell once, but I love it as a long-term hold. Unlike UNH has the chance to get to that monster level and maybe go SSR, which does give it a trade for me. But Eli Lilly, I probably will not touch it. I can't see myself trading it in here today. You do have some overhead resistance, maybe not at the moving averages, but certainly in the 860 to 865 range. But what I would point out is when you look at like the recent down, the November lows, like these bottoms off the 700 level, and then back into the top, just keep in mind what the SPY has done from those same lows, right? Like your kind of November bottoms in here, and then the more local lows. Eli Lilly has held its levels from that top, whereas the SPY has turned that into resistance and gone even further. So it's been a great place to have been relative to the overall market. Some of the healthcare names have done pretty well. Clearly, there's still some pharma tariffs that would still have to come in potentially. But yeah, that 700 has been a great place to buy on Lilly.
Take it over, yeah, okay. So again, I don't know. I was looking at, we just talked about Eli Lilly here. It's going to have a decent spread today. I think you want to buy any dips on this because this is that wonder drug. So what else are they going to figure out with it? No matter what you think about it, I see the chat. Obviously, curing different diseases is going to be one thing. trying to lose weight, there's obviously other ways to do it, but this is a way that can help those that maybe can't get into the gym or don't choose to do that. I mean, it's a lifestyle thing, and this is just what medicine is, right? I mean, you have a lot of people there. People know smoking's bad; they still smoke. I mean, people, choose to eat, they choose to eat, and this will give them something, I guess, there to look at. Remember, diabetes is something that's completely, you don't have to be overweight and you could be diabetic. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening with Eli Lilly. But I was actually looking at the technology, because I haven't bought anything of this. We liked it. I liked this at 100 and then liked it again at 90. So I'm probably stuck somewhere near the 200 period right here on XBI. But I was just gonna say, like the IBB, the XBI, some of these names here, technology, I think, is always going to win. So when you get bioscience, I kind of like maybe dip buying something here on XBI. So I think that could be something that comes into play. Let me actually look. I'm going to pull down the chart here on eSignal and just have a little bit of a weekly look at this, because I already know where it is on the daily. Yeah, so I get, like, sometimes when you zoom out and you see some of these weekly charts, it gives you a little bit of a better idea of maybe where we are. So we go back into 2019, we go back in there again to 2020, that, obviously the crisis there. Then the dip down in 22 when everything hit rock bottoms again. And then here, I don't know what was going on October of 23. Well, yeah, I guess, again, not going to look the same as all the tech stocks, but there we go to the downside, and we're just kind of bouncing one more time there on XBI. So, I like this name here just to get a little piece of everything. I'm not sure what percentage of Eli Lilly is in the XBI. I actually just wanted to show everybody, we talked about those quiches. So this is what they look like right now. Yeah, so it's just like that with the veggies in there. So, yeah, so I'm gonna have one. So I prefer it without the crust. I feel like the crust here is a little too dry.
I like
some of the crust. I like the crust too.
I love a nice light crust.
Yeah,
Look, when they did it, there was too much crust when they did it before. But I feel like it's an overcorrection to not have any crust.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Well, and plus it's not peeling the greatest from.
So my issue was that if you're gonna do it on parchment paper, you have to make sure it doesn't stick.
Right.
Like you gotta.
These are sticking a little
But
bit.
it's definitely tasty. You know what else is tasty?
A little bit of egg.
The move up in chips. Thank you, TSM.
Without dip.
I don't know. But anyway, we'll continue along. TSM, 3% here. It's trying to hold higher right now. We did get maybe a lower high so far this morning, but not much follow through to the downside. Again, if you missed it, AI-related net revenue or revenue from AI specifically going to double in this year.
It's a very good report. Yeah. Really good report, guys. Revenue, guys, $839.25 billion new Taiwanese dollars. That easily beat the 835 the street was looking for, and that accounted to about 41.5% year-over-year revenue growth, as you mentioned, Brendo, driven by strong AI chip demand. Net income, their take-home money, $361.5 billion new Taiwanese dollars, again exceeding the street's expectations and accounting for a 60.3% year-over-year increase in net income, all driven by high-performance computing. I'm talking about AI and 5G, which accounted for about 59% of the revenue. Advanced technologies, anything less than 7 nanometers, they contributed about 73% of wafer revenue. Now, the annual forecast was maintained. The revenue growth target in the mid-20s was reiterated for 2025. Q2 expectations, though, growth is going to be supported by increasing production of the 3 nanometer and 5 nanometer technology, and they continue to see strong AI demand from clients like NVIDIA. The Trump tariffs, though, Brendo, they could face a 10% levy, which could rise to about 32% after that 90-day pause. And there's also the current headwind of export restrictions, including what we call now AI diffusion rules, which may tighten up, especially with respect to China. The CEO Wei acknowledged uncertainties and risk, but said no change in customer behavior has been observed yet. And finally, over here, guys, with respect to global expansion, $165 billion is going to be invested in the United States, $100 billion more than the $65 billion that they already committed to the fabs that are under construction.
Don't look now, but I hate to throw some cold water on this. NVIDIA just went red here on the morning to the tune of about 0.25%. It was holding a little bit higher. AMD is still green, but about 0.5% here, trying to test new lows right now, so things fading a bit, guys.
We're almost 1% up on the NASDAQ.
Thanks,
now
Brendan.
we're 0.6. A few things dropped, even the Chinese name.
Wow,
well,
Brendan.
BABA dropped a full point just now as well. But TSM, you can't, look, you're not going to complain about the numbers on the quarter. You're just not going to. Obviously, the tariff stuff, who knows how that's going to play out. I like this for my litmus test today. I already said it, 154. If we hold that level, then I think if we're, you know what, the way to frame it is if we're under that level, then I don't like fighting potential trend reverse. I've seen this happen like sometimes when like Broadcom will report and everything is moving on that. In this particular case, TSM. I just don't want that losing the bid because I think that'll mean only bad things. NVIDIA is in a unique circumstance in that it hit 10% down. And so like when Tesla does it or when any of the big names do it, typically the next day, I like looking for long setups when we can find them. Overnight and right at the close, you had 103.5, which is the prior support, and then in the blue ocean overnight, 103.5 was another level. It's just that or 100. Like the gap in between there, it would need to be some kind of crazy bottoming tail candle or mean reversion wick to have me take the long. But I'm looking for long reversions because it's SSR. And when you have the stock that's under the uptick rule, oftentimes, you know, those pops, when you get them, are really nice and trendy. So it's not usual that you'd have NVIDIA have this. So at first, at 103.5, I want to see a mean revert, either bottoming tail candle or break a trend, a downtrend going into it. If we just dump it on the open, then I wait for $100 where it bounced yesterday. Oh, also, I mean, Intel shorts, same pattern as the last 2 days. Yeah.
What is the market?
Well, the other thing about TSM is they denied all this talk of them being interested in doing anything with Intel. So that's why Intel's down.
So I have, Intel, well, I guess that is why Intel's down, but Intel, I was just thinking about Intel because it's like every day. I haven't written along on that in a while. I just wanted to say right here, I do have Taiwan Semi here as a 153. I'm watching yesterday's close. That was 152. Good Q and good guidance. I'm not sure, like I wrote down here, I'm not sure how the market will react. So let's try to be patient with this upside, right? And so it looks like, as Brendan had just mentioned there, some of the chip names and Neil as well had come back into the downside. So has TSM, but it really hasn't done anything. It's still holding up. When we were looking at it before, it was 3%. Now you're 2.8%. So I was yesterday's close at 152. You know, here's the top right there at 153. Like I had mentioned before, the 200 period keeps on climbing, but to me, it's this 153 area right into there. I want to try to buy this dip into 152. If we break 152, maybe it's 150, 150 or so as an out, but I'm not going to be sitting here catching a falling knife. Let it come down here, bounce around a little bit, then boom goes a dynamite to the upside. So just like we were saying, I don't know which way these chips are going to fly around today, but I thought positively. The market was green today. It was a good quarter. Everyone, at least I was pretty nervous. We've been highlighting TSM all week. They come out with a better report, so I want to go long. I feel like it's good feels there. So for me on AMD, it was something very similar. Huge move to the upside at the end of the day, right? And so I want to see if we can hold those levels. So that's $88. So if we can hold in and around this $88 mark for me on advanced micro devices, that should be a trade. You know, I mean, we didn't spend too much time underneath there other than this tank, and then it, closed at that level. So let's just see. I mean, it's also a great short, breaking back down below 88 as well. So this is the thing about today. We ought to wait to see and be very, very specific on what we're trying to do. NVIDIA at that $100 mark, we were just there yesterday. So to say that, we can't get back there, this was about a half hour ago, like this was at 3:30. So market closes at 4. We're not even open yet. Could we dip into $100? Yes. And if we did that, then the TSM trade wouldn't work out because I assume that would be going to the downside as well. So for me, NVIDIA's a buy in this area. Letting it go through 100, I think would be a mistake. So, we'll buy NVIDIA 102, 101, hold it against that $100 mark. And that's the one thing that we talked about yesterday. We had that $4 winner on Apple early, the $4 winner on Apple late. And then, totaling, I think, all in all about $9 or so on this name yesterday. We had that short, then we also had that short. And then we had that long, actually, I think is where we got that extra dollar off. But these trades will set up for you at any time. So that's the whole thing about being patient. You got to wait for these things to happen, right? So if you miss that short, you're like, oh, man. But then it comes right back up to VWAP. It gives it to you again. So being patient today, I think, is going to be the key one more time. We've been having a great month, a great couple weeks, everything. I guess a month would be a couple weeks. And that concluded with a great month of March. So far, so good right now. Let's go back over to the desk.
This portion of the show brought to you by our friends over at Forex VIM. Tired of staring at charts all day? What if a robot could trade for you? Meet Forex VIM. Forex VIM is an AI-powered trading bot that scans the market 24/7, executes trades automatically, and even manages risk for you. No motion, no guesswork, just precision trading on autopilot. It works on MT4, specializes in gold trading, and comes with easy setup plus customer support. Want stress-free trading? Try Forex VIM today. Visit forexvim.com or click the link in the description. Let's go on to Netflix. Not a lot to look at here so far this morning. There was a couple of analyst notes on Netflix here ahead of earnings coming up after the close tonight. I think it was Piper that initiated coverage at, I mean, it was positive regardless, with a decent price target on this ahead of earnings, which is kind of rare.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm surprised that they are initiating coverage at this point, but an overweight rating is what they're initiating with a price target of $1,100, implying a significant upside from where we're currently at. Here's what they're saying. They're saying Netflix offers strong entertainment value proposition with higher customer retention. They go on to say subscription model is seen as a defensible model, especially in recessionary environments, and the streaming momentum is set to be inflecting upward. They also see Netflix as being on the offense, superior content pipeline. They go on to say rapid growth as well in its advertising tier. One of the more underreported parts of Netflix strategy lately has been their new ad tier, which obviously brings more money in the more you watch, whereas if you're on the paid tier without ads, that's all they get. They get that monthly tariff and that's it.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear about the ad side of things from all of these, Amazon specifically. Do you watch shows on Prime?
I don't watch any TV, Brendo.
It's almost as bad as normal television.
Really?
How many commercials there are?
The commercials are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's almost as bad. It's getting to a point where it's like every 5 to 10 minutes kind of
interesting
commercial break. It's crazy.
I completely concur with that. Prime is gone.
Sounds like cable.
But here's the thing.
Just pay to get them removed, right?
Have I canceled Prime? Have I shifted away from it? Nope. That's why I like Amazon, and that's why I'm gonna like look. Okay, so I don't see ads on Netflix. I can't make the comparison as to who has more aggressive ads because I don't watch it. But anecdotally, I know that Amazon's a lot. But Netflix is fantastic. We'll get them after the bell, obviously. It'll be weird because usually we get Netflix after the bell and we get to end our week, I guess. Looking at the reaction in the morning, we won't get to see that until until Monday. But I like the fact that there's not many big cap names that are holding the 50 period up here like Netflix is. So this is it's a big put up or shut up day, I think, for the market after this TSM earnings, especially for the chip names. But for Netflix as well, I don't love the fact that a lot of other names have gapped above that Powell drop level, and that while we're up, we're still there. Like the rally you saw late in the day, Netflix was pretty muted. So I don't wonder if it doesn't retest that 950 back in there. And if we don't close above the 50 period moving average, I think that would be not the best sign, but none of that matters until after the earnings come in. Candidly, I'm neither a buyer nor a seller up here. I'm not selling any of my Netflix shares, and I'm not buying them just because we happen to be above the 50 period moving average. That 200 period when we're in a downtrend is what I like a heck of a lot better. So good luck to anyone out there. If you're trading Netflix, I won't be. I still hope they split because that would be absolutely fantastic. I think for pretty everybody that's looking at the short-term markets, cheaper for options, better if you want to do covered call stuff, better for day trading. Everybody wins when they eventually do it, but I keep saying that for a year, and every other stock but them does it.
Yeah, I think they will split this quarter. I think you'll get an announcement today of a split. So I think that's going to be a good opportunity there for Netflix. They're not going to get to $1 trillion market cap unless they do that. And I know it has nothing to do with cosmetically the stock just changes, but it has nothing to do with what's underneath the hood. So we'll talk a little bit about Amazon. Nice move up for the NASDAQ right here. Everything fell down. We talked about when Powell was speaking yesterday, the market go boom to the downside, then a nice little recovery area there. So again, more aggressive than the market today is Amazon. I think we got to respect the stock, play it right here. If we can come back into this 174 area, I think that's a decent buy side for Amazon. You know, I just was saying this today. It's like it's Thursday. It's going to be a long weekend here. You know, is the market going to really trade too aggressively today? If it doesn't, and we kind of get a little bit of a flatter day, then yeah, some of these stocks that have showed relative strength early, I think can be bought, especially if we do wind up dipping around. So I like this 174 close area for Netflix or for Amazon right there. As far as Netflix is concerned, there we go. We get the imbalances out for the NASDAQ. So let's just have a quick look to see if anything happened there. So NVIDIA comes with a sell. So that's never a great sign there for NVIDIA. Nice sell down into 104. Oh, there we go. He's coming with the coffees. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much right there, Randy. Yeah, and then Apple's. So not everything's a sell, but all the big names are a sell. NVIDIA, Apple, there's Amazon we just talked about. So that's just hit down there to 175. We got Microsoft's a sell there as well. We've got Google right. I know Microsoft's not loading up. We got Google with a sell here, Randy. Randy, you pick one as an investment. NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, or Google. You get any of the Mag 7 right there. NVIDIA. Okay, so I like that one. We'll say thank you to Randy for that call. He's liking NVIDIA. There's your XOM with a little bit of a sell coming in here off the open as well. But some of these names just not moving around. Decent sizes right here off the open. So
Summer driving season is coming.
Right, and that's summer gas prices, right?
Yep.
So
I don't know.
Is there more profit in summer gas?
It's a cyclical thing.
The mic.
Grab
Summer
the mic.
driving season is upon us. People get out the boats, the jet skis, and all the toys.
Right.
Rig count is down, Permian especially, but that's okay. Again, efficiencies, profitabilities are up. So buy the dips on XOM. I think that's a bit of a smidge there.
All right. A little bit of.
I like CVX, but I think they're about the same.
Yes.
Yes, the charts are the movement of the stock. The movement of the stock is almost identical recently. It hasn't really mattered. XLE is what I've been in, and it's been a disaster. I'm just being real. Everything's been a disaster.
Yeah, all energy. I mean, at least you're not in Oxy. Oxy's been getting.
The Oxy's really bad. I'm glad I got away from Occidental. Whoops, I was just configuring my quote board there. No, the imbalances have stayed. A slight decrease in a bunch of them. Like NVIDIA is now down. It's paired off down to 1.3. Apple's now paired to 800,000. Amazon paired to 600,000. So they were a lot bigger, and now you're starting to see them pair. Remember, it is the end of the week, so some of that is we're getting some Friday imbalance action. Palantir's holding out pretty nicely. Just checking. Alibaba had done a bit of a drop. I still like it, and I got to be patient with this off the 113 levels from the other day. Like, we're shorting it 2 days ago off of those levels. Yesterday was just a VWAP thing, but I think the chance to get back to the 113 is in play for this particular Chinese ADR. As we had mentioned, Taiwan Semi is not interested in any partnerships or combinations or whatever the rumors have been with them. In Intel, there's been a couple. Qualcomm denied this months ago when they were rumored. So they're down 1.5%. Not many things weren't gapped up here today, so I feel like it's low-hanging fruit. If we get anywhere near the local highs, like 19.3 and 19.5, if that doesn't happen, got to be willing to find the trend on the stock as long as it continues this whole trend down nonsense it's doing. Oh, there was a story on DJT, for those that were asking and talking about it in the chat. We have it from Adara, that they're up because they informed the SEC about potential stock manipulation, significant short positions in Germany. And I'm not saying whether this is true or not. That's the report. They're only up a couple of percent here. And when you look at the 15-minute chart on DJT, it looks like it needs to get through. You're not squeezing unless you're breaking high, so that's 20.5. Bit of a multi-day resistance level for DJT, ran into there in the pre-market and pulled back a little. So yeah, there is a bit of a story here for DJT. I don't see any crazy pre-market volume that would put it in play like a Hertz is right now.
Yeah, we were talking about Hertz earlier there. We had zoomed back out, and I had sort of said that we're looking for $8 to fade. Well, that $8 just came 10 minutes ago, and now is down 50 cents. From that level. So I think you've probably hit a level right there. If we break 8, then I think you just punch long here on Hertz Global and then wind up seeing what's going on. But look what's happening right here as Bill Ackman comes in, sees liquidity, and probably dumps his position. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening here, but watch out for $8 break there on Hertz. Easy name to halt, right? You only get that 10% move. This could halt like in a heartbeat one way or the other. Fabian, have we put the countdown on the open yet? Or do we still have to hit the button? You still got to hit the button. Okay, so we'll work on that because it's working amazing on the close, and that would be nice if that was happening.
Hertz free locates.
The open. Ooh, free locates. Okay, good. So you don't even need to pay for shorts over here.
Yeah, just check.
We're looking for Palantir. I got bids on Palantir. I got bids on Google. I got bids on the NASDAQ. We're bidding. Here today, we're going to watch out for Taiwan Semi. So with only 5 seconds, this is brought to you by Worksport. Thank you, Adara. Go check out Worksport, WKSP. Right now, Worksport added to your watch list today. Thank you, Adara. So here we go, man. We are now open. Remember, we did have some sell imbalances that we had to work through early, so we'll wait to see what's going on there. Taiwan Semiconductor not open yet on the new. Oh, yes, it is. I see some New York prints going through. So 156 and change. Did that NVIDIA sell eventually pair off? Looks like it did. It touching 104 right there for NVIDIA. So if that's one of your buy zones, anybody out there, then you're at there right now, 104 for NVIDIA. What's as high as 105.50? So, okay. The name that I want to look at here long is going to be Palantir, and it just touched a 200 period moving average right there as well, but I'm not ready to get into anything just quite yet as the market here underneath VWAP and looking to break that pre-market low, well, I guess the last hour, right now 18.5. Looks like it
we might take that out. There was a spike up for a split second there on Intel. Thought maybe you would do one of those, hey, let's go for a jaunt, run into resistance, and you can fade it early. But I'm already pulling right back underneath VWAP. BABA is heading up as well. So if you're, like the market's gliding down, BABA, like 113, we'll wait for it to get there. I will have UNH up, but I don't think we'll see that 440. So UNH, it's pulling back from 490. Oh, I'm missing some data on this chart too. So VWAP might be off on this chart if that persists, but it won't be off by much. But if we're pulling back, if we don't get an SSR bounce underneath 450, then I would look to the pre-market low for some kind of a jaunt. NVIDIA is chewing right through, so there is nothing in the way. It's just a big time red candle. It's SSR. I need a trend reverse. I need my level to hold. It's either at 103.5, which is not holding yet, or 100. Yesterday, into NVIDIA too early. Was dead right, but just got in too early. So I'm more than willing to wait this one out and see where it tries to bottom and give me some kind of a setup on NVDA. Apple moving as well. Yeah, we might not get that pop. Baba's already pulled back. Might not get that short in Alibaba. Intel still could be in play though.
All right, we've got trade on right now. Palantir, we're long right here at 93.50. It's a little earlier than we wanted it. We wanted it down here at 93, so it looks like it's going to come in. We'll take about half a unit right there on Palantir. We're waiting for 93. Oh, I'm actually at 93.05. Let's get a little bit more aggressive than that. Right around here, we'll add to that. We'll get like 3/4 of a unit here, and then we're waiting for 93 to hit, right, for Palantir, but still good. We'll see if we can get a nice little upside play right now. It is now 20 cents in the money. I'm actually offering some 90s, I thought. Yeah, 93.90 to get out, and then we're up here north of 94 as it's another name that we wanted to trade with. So we're doing that right now. We are long on the first trade of the day, long right now on Palantir. And you guys are always asking, like, how are these trades working out and this and that. We had a question yesterday. Just, you know, there's our trades. We're in them. We'll talk about when we get out, this and that, what the loser is like, what the winners are like. So we're long Palantir right now. 155 dropping out for Taiwan Semiconductor. I wrote down 153. That's not even coming anywhere near for now. TSM. So we'll have to wait. Holding 3%. It's kind of strange. Like I wish it was moving a little bit more, especially that it had earnings. So maybe that is a dead duck right now. We nailed JP Morgan yesterday, man, at the close. That was a monster trade to end the day. 228 long up to 230. So we'll see what's going on with JP Morgan. I did want to check back. So, all right, Palantir just doing Palantir type things. Look at the market. Nice move down right now. So we had wrote this in there. Try to be patient. Try to get names that you like. But Palantir coming in here into 93. The reason why we wrote this down was sort of yesterday's closing prices in and around here. We thought 93 could be a good one. Our patience should have been a little bit longer as it's coming back in and we could get a better price right now. But we're long right here at 93. We didn't, as I said, just 49s. So 93.50. We're waiting for a little bit lower here. If it does break 93, I'll probably just give this to 92.50. So we got to give this name $1. We're long here. We'll be longer at 93 flat. So if it comes in, that's where we're going to be buying this dip, hopefully.
Yeah, this market's still coming in pretty decently. I mean, we haven't broken the first even support on the NASDAQ, but there hasn't been much of an abatement. We're not abating this move. It anywhere close. Like I'm not seeing much of anything that's bouncing outside of, oddly enough, it's weird, but it's Intel that's bouncing. So maybe we'll get that one as a bit of a fade into the short. But we're still dropping on NVIDIA. Want to see the trend revert. Maybe we do see that 100 first. It's entirely possible. And then I look up. Every time I look up at this thing when it's bouncing on Intel, throw my order in, let's get the high, and it's right back. Someone just keeps selling this. Look at the wicks on this chart. So get to be a little bit more aggressive the next time it pops up there in and about that 19 to 19.10 area to try to grab that short, but you're still falling pretty hard. I see Apple that just took the lows through 195 pre-market lows, and that continues to go lower. So yeah, we're still, if you like longs, patience is going to have to be the game here because this is like an absolute bleed to the downside. I guess that 100 could be the play. There's also a bit of a support here at the 102. Got to be some kind of trend reversion, or I'm not standing in the way of these bids. Didn't get the short we wanted on AMD, or sorry, on BABA or Intel. So it's just waiting for the turn here on NVIDIA.
All right, yeah, we're here on Palantir. It's down through now 95, 93. So the market has no bids at all. I mean, it hasn't even jumped one piece yet. So those of you that are playing the short, yeah, you win right now. It's a huge move to that down. I mean, it's pretty huge, right? It's down 1%. We are up close to 1%, and then there's the move back in right now into flat for the NASDAQ. We'll see if we get a bounce, man. We were in the money on Palantir, well, we just were a couple seconds ago. We're long at 23. So here we go. Palantir trying to bounce off some of these plays right now. Just a quick little check on our Trader TV Live research note to see what's coming through right now. Nothing. So we just have Fed's bar speaking at 11:45. But here we go again, man. We sat in this trade. It's Palantir. It's starting to go to the upside. It'll be 1 for 1. Get out right now if you don't like the long. It's 1 for 1. It's 20 cents in the money. Let's go Palantir. See how high we could fly on PLTR. We knew we wanted this name. We stuck with it one more time. Again, it could break out. That's finally a green candle, and Palantir popped 60 cents. So if the market ever gets going, I think we like this one. But at the same time, taking pieces out, we got 2 pieces there. We got one at 30, one at 40, I believe. So yes, actually a little bit better than that. 40, we got a 38 and a 43 on PLTR. Right now, long 20s. Let's put something else again at 45 just to get a piece out if it does rip back up there. But hey, man, if the market rips, I'm really happy being long with Palantir here, giving it to 93. Here we go, giving it to 92.50 on the downside here for PLTR. So let's see if we can get it going back up to the upside right now. Let's go PLTR. That is for sure. Neil and NVIDIA. I'm long over here, and Adara's at the desk.
There's a good-looking small cap here, ADGM, that's Adagio Medical Holdings. This one already halted, and it's worth noting here, very small float, about 270,000 shares. This morning here, granted breakthrough device designation here by the FDA for its cryoablation system. So ADGM, one small cap we're on watch this morning, and as Sean mentioned earlier, we actually don't have any economic data coming out at 10. Furthermore, we have comments coming through here from from Ming-Chi Kuo, noted supply chain analyst on TSM, saying that TSM has made it clear they have no plans for any joint ventures or technology transfers. So clearly just market rumors there with regards to a potential INTC and TSM merger, according to Ming-Chi Kuo, noted supply chain analyst. ADGM, and back to you.
Right, so I'm in NVIDIA, did a bottoming tail candle, 102.80, then held right off 103. I got 103.11 in here. We have taken some out in front of 40, but we're already retesting low. Like, yes, you have a bottoming tail candle, but no, you do not have a green candle yet on the 3-minute anyways. Mine's a 3-minute chart over here. So until we see green, I don't want to be adding to this position because I still think you're headed into the downside. Someone's saying, Neil, look at Baba. I saw that in the chat, and I'm like, what's happening in Alibaba? Me canceling the 113 order because you're getting an inside day in Alibaba. So there's just nothing happening in Baba. Intel is the one that will slap the fail on because should be shorted, am not shorted. Instead, I'm long NVIDIA, which is threatening to come out. Breaks that low, it's at 102.80. I'm out of this thing. I'm taking profit 1-to-1 and 30 cents. I'm getting out if it breaks the low. We have not broken this trend yet. So I'm out the second it breaks that low. There it is. We'll wait for the next level to come back down in. Should just be short something. There's no questions asked, but wasn't willing to chase Intel. First available bounce. Just looking to fade this bad boy as we continue to go lower and lower and lower. If there's a Chinese ADR moving more than Baba, feel free to throw it in the chat. I mean, that's the one I'm watching because that's the one we usually trade.
All right. We've got another new position. All right. We're long Google. So Google comes into 153.50, exactly where we thought we liked it. So we're going to be long on Google and see if it wants to work. We're long at 153.75. So we'll take something else out at the 50 marker right now. And again, it's just about what stocks you're trading, right? Neil's picking on NVIDIA right here. Palantir, for some reason, is actually holding these levels. So Palantir right now is going to be not only the heaviest stock right here, but we're going to see if we can get something out at 60s if it comes back up to the upside right now, long Palantir off that. Google might be the one that is no. If the market fades out, then yeah, I mean, Google about to turn red possibly as well with the market. There it goes. Oh my, yes, sir. Money. Oh boy, here we go with Palantir, man. Like I said, we've been doing more shares, patience, picking out these levels right there. So there goes PLTR right now. Huge move to the upside, exactly as we wrote down. We wrote down getting long at 93. So that 93 call for everybody. Google also right now 15 cents in the money. So we're just going to sit back and relax and hopefully be able to watch out for this. See how I just peeled that? My guy over there, and whoever in the chat always bugs us about how that goes. But there it is, man, right there. Nice little win for us on Palantir. We're out of about 30% of it. But I think this thing can moon. So we're going to wait to see what winds up happening right now on Palantir. You know what? I might also just get out of another piece right here as we go. It's great to have the confidence. It's great to have the trades. And I'm glad that you guys are here. Hit the like and the subscribe. Thank you so much. We're doing it again here today, man. We did it yesterday. We did it the day before. We're doing it again right now. There's Google, 30 cents in the money to go with the $1 plus on Palantir.
A great look over there for sure. No questions asked about it. But I'm glad we got out of NVDA. It might be making its first green candle, but it didn't get to the 100 level. So we wanted it to hold first level here.
Bye-bye.
If it does now, fantastic. But the market is bouncing well, and NVIDIA is still yet to put in a green candle. So that's why I think it makes sense to still be away from it. Intel is now finally popping into that 19 level. So 1910 the high. We'll see if we can pick it up this time. It's a nice bounce over there. And yes, Hertz, I know people are talking about it. It is finally looking like it wants to break out. So Hertz trying to take out this $8 level. I don't like breakouts on these types of names. I want to see it do almost like a false break, hold VWAP by the dip, and the hold through the high. I much prefer that type of a setup on Hertz. But there's your first green candle and bottoming tail on NVDA, and it's right back in testing that low. So it's a bit of a trend break here on NVIDIA. Just needs to be able to hold a higher low, and then we can work ourselves back into position. But with the market trying to bounce here, it's not as strong as the bounces I'm looking up at and seeing elsewhere. So for now, you're still relatively weak. Baba's not really doing much of anything at all. I need to show some more signs of strength here in NVIDIA to try to get back in to that bad boy. IBIT is another thing we're watching for the 85,000 level, but we're at 84.5. And not much movement over. It was strong yesterday, so I did like it for some relative strength. I'm not seeing a heck of a lot pressing into 85 right now.
All right, so yeah, Palantir did have that nice little run to the upside there. We cashed out of a decent amount when it cut. I mean, look at all those outs there at 94.20. It's kept on going, stop. So we got some out. Look, I mean, I'm waiting for higher, right? We're hoping for this 94.80 area to come through again. So this is just, there it is. It's 9.43 and props it up. That's the day. So right there, daily goal, 1.5 times daily goal right now being met for me. So again, I'm not going to change the goalpost. The reason why I put that there for you guys is just to show you that these are the things that, you know, those of us that are at Real Trading, I spent before this show, the director of trading floor development and helping open up floors worldwide and showing traders how to trade, how to make a little bit of that income right there. So just off the jump right here, 943, and we're already there. So congratulations to anybody that's here with me on that one. Back into NVIDIA for the second time over there. And then Google over here flies up to VWAP. So we're going to get out of some more. Unfortunately, on Google, we didn't have like a big, huge position. We had about a third of what we wound up having on Palantir. So still a great trade, as it's the two markers that we had written down on here. We had written down TSM at 153. We can go have a look there. We wrote down Palantir. Like the level that we wrote down was Palantir 93. So right now that's $1.20 in the money. It breaks 93. It goes on to 92.80. And then Google as well. We wrote down 153.50. So now it's at 154.20. The other name that we wanted to look at was TQ's long at 45. So we can have a quick little look to see what the NASDAQ has done today. It is getting lower into that 45. So this is making me a little nervous. I actually didn't realize the NASDAQ was this close to that bottom again right now. So I'm going to take out some more now on Palantir. I'm going to put an offer at O's again here. We'll go at 97. That gets picked up again. It's the face slap right there. Okay, here we go. We got to go over to Neil now. 3 new positions. Which one do you like the best?
2 new positions.
Yeah, 2 new positions.
2 new positions. NVIDIA is the same as, well, it's the same setup as before. It's VWAP on Alibaba. Look, Alibaba's not getting to 113, so I have to make a bit of a pivot on this as we're respecting VWAP to the downside. Similar thing over there with Intel, because Intel came in, it tried to break VWAP and go through 19. Remember, I couldn't get any fills above 19. So it's like just come down and wherever it happens to turn, take the turn. So that's what we did over there. We'll see if we can't get some bids out. So both those are going to be short positions. But NVIDIA, it was the same bottoming tail, wanted to hold the low. It held the low, added on the way up. Sometimes you like adding on the way up. Sometimes you don't. But it breaks the low, I'm out of it. But we do find ourselves in not the short levels that I wanted, but the short names that I wanted. So sometimes that's how it's going to be. It's VWAP on both cases. The market is trending down. We're still a couple of green candles. That's not true. Check that. There's a slight chance at a green candle on the SPY. It just ticked green for a second. We haven't closed a green candle on the SPY or the NASDAQ. For a second, it looked like it. But I'm bidding in front of the low here on BABA. The scaling kind of stinks, but every time I try to get rid of these dark pool wicks, which you just see overnight, it just crashes on me. So I'm going to keep reloading in front of VWAP, which is about 110.60 on Alibaba. Let's go to Adara.
So another small cap to watch out for, FFAI, that is Faraday Future, saying they, quote, resolutely oppose a reverse stock split. Also said they're committed to maintaining their NASDAQ listing. So we get a press release here about their stock price for FFAI pushing to the upside, still below that $1 level. Excuse me, back to you.
If you quick look at that, let's look at, I mean, the market is going for a little bit of a run down. We've been getting some more out here of NVIDIA and Google. We still have half of that position. So nice trades to the upside right there, but bouncing completely off VWAP, now coming back in. We're going to try to go longer down here at I thought I had a bid, 153.50. Yeah, I do. So, okay, we just got missed there. I was actually at 51s. Okay, here it comes. Let's see if we can get it. Hopefully we get it. We're at 51. Okay, there we go. We got it, so we don't have to punch back in. Okay, so there it goes, 153. So we got 153.50. That's actually the price that we wanted. So we're going to put an offer now back up to the upside in and around 154. Our average price now 153.60. So we'll take something out here for 20, 30 cents, and then we'll see if we can get a 154 take, and then more upside after that. But the banger right now is going to be PLTR for me, up to $94, trying to go. What's going to happen if this market moons, man? Palantir, we're waiting at 94.25 right now to get out at the high of the day again. That's where we've been getting out right there. So we'll see if we can get back up to the true high where we opened at 94.70. That'd be aight for me right now. Market trying to find a bottom down there. Let me guess, TQs went to 45. It's at 45.20 right now. Debating taking this trade. I'm probably going to cancel that long just for now because we're already long 2 huge names, I feel like. There goes Palantir, guys. It is now $1.25. We say it only takes 1 trade, and that is what it's taking right now as Palantir absolutely moonshotting right now. The biggest trade for me today, PLTR, and it's going without the market going. So this is going to be a really, hopefully a good one. My next stop is 94.75 on PLTR. So far, 2 for 2 here today. And yeah, good. So, and again, the other thing too is we talk about, I see all the people asking in the chat about share size. Okay, at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that when you look down, your losing trades are going to be hopefully still, I don't know, like at most double the net on the downside of what your winning trades are. Like, so if you lose, for example, $50 on a trade, hopefully your winning trades, you're making 25, you know, and then that way, if you go 2 for 3, then you're back to flat. You know, that's the whole thing about trading is managing the amount of shares that you're putting on per trade. You know, it's because that's the only way to look at it. Like you could lose on Google here or whatever, but at the end of the day, if you look down and you say, you know what, my losing trade, I'm only down $50, but I've made $150 on Palantir. That's the kind of stuff that you want to do. You want to manage your size, manage the losing positions, and as we always talk about it, Neil, I know you do, I talk about it too, you want to make sure that the losers are matching how much you're winning on the winning trades.
Well, I say it a little differently, but it's the same concept.
Right, yeah, exactly.
What I say is, what I always look at is the trade you are making. What did you risk on that trade relative to what it would have won? Like that's, on a trade by trade basis, as opposed to a stock by stock basis or a setup by setup basis, right? Like if you have a breakout trade, the breakout trade, and like an SSR, I would never compare. Like if I trade UNH, I'm not comparing UNH to anything else that I'm doing because that type of an SSR bounce, it's not going to happen. It doesn't look like UNH is not going to that low. But that's just a different type of setup for me. But you just had a precipitous bounce over there in the market. Is it now time, NVDA? Scott Moore, no, I'm not buying UNH. I was just using that as an example. I'm not buying UNH at all. But you're finally getting a big green candle. It wasn't at 100 and we're underneath 103, so I'm not in that one, but I got to go back over to two things.
Go Gadget Palantir.
First one, enter twice.
Oh, man.
Trying to get the reload. We haven't broken highs yet on Intel. I'm going to cancel it with that market strength. See if we can't get money fills up at 19, 19.10. Yesterday, there were multiple shots to get into the short off the high. So we just want to be patient enough to wait for it and see if we can't get it. Zach, I haven't looked at Tesla today. It wasn't really on my radar. My focus was looking for NVIDIA, which we didn't end up grabbing. Again, I could have averaged into it, but that's, again, not my style of trade. Like, everyone's going to be a little bit different. If I average in, it works, but that's not really for me because I found that that's the kind of thing that leads to too many blow-ups in the account. GME is pumping. I see that in the chat, but not looking at that name. I want to see if we can sustain this rally. Now we had a big green candle. I'm not chasing the top of the move. Okay. We'll just look for a better dip buy opportunity over there in NVIDIA.
Yeah, you guys want to hit the alert? That is fine by me, man. We just get that 94.75. And as Neil's saying, man, this is what we're talking about. Like, I'm double long, he's double short. You know, we'll see if we can both cash in on these trades here today. So let's just go, man. This is going to be a big move here. One more time. Look at Palantir, 94.50. Thank you, Steve J. Thank you to everybody that's here today. We can look at CoreWeave. We can look at all these plays for you as well. But for me right now, look at this play on Google. There's 153.50. That's what we wrote down. So there it goes back there to the upside. It'll be, Chill Vibes Meta. Yeah, I mean, we can look at many different names as the market's coming back upside. We're just kind of over the moon again here right now with what's been happening with NVIDIA. Huge move. I'm going to get I'm going to get another piece out here at 94.75. Sharif A. We wrote down $93 as your trade of the day there on Palantir, along with 153.50 on Google. So we'll go 2 for 2 bangers right there. Thank you so much to everybody there in the chat for watching. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. Oh yeah, and by the way, Neil and everybody else watching, we also wrote down as our trade of the day. I'm just going to show you guys this right now because I did not take Taiwan Semi, but look what we wrote down. 153 long. All right, so let's just review this. This is the number one. So we have Palantir there. We have Google there at 153. We have the TQs at 45. That went to 45.20. Now $1 and change. There's TSM 153 long. So if we go over to TSM, the bottom today is 153.15s. So that came into play right there. Now $1.50 in the money if you do have that one. But no TSM, no cry when you've got Google and Palantir right now on board. Two monster names. And yeah, this is the thing. More confidence comes more shares, comes more profit, comes bang. And right there, nice move upside there for PLTR. Let's see where we can get going on this one, man. I mean, why not? Why not look at 95 right here for Palantir? That's a good point, Sean. Let me put out an offer in and around 95. And if we do get that high, then we can punch out. We are now almost out of the majority of this Google. We have 20% left on Google as it's worked out. Fits like a glove today, these longs over here. So far, we're still underneath VWAP. I don't want to get too excited there.
Yeah, so just to correct it, the position board was wrong for a lot of that move. I was never in
Palantir just hit.
Alibaba past the breakthrough VWAP. Like I got out when it broke the local high. Actually, oddly enough, you know what? Ignore VWAP there. Let's look at the black chart. I got to put this up. It looks like one of my charts is kind of giving me a bit of a hiccup. I'm going to have to ignore VWAP on my white chart, so apologies there, because it didn't break. It broke the local high, and I did jump out of it, but we actually haven't broken VWAP, so it's still very much underneath 111. The volume weighted average price should be here. Not really sure why it's not. So there's still a chance I should be jumping back into this, but I'll be patient with it as the market's coming back to the upside. Intel's at the same spot as before, so we're looking reload on INTC. Right off, it's 1898. So when the market does that bounce back to the upside, right in here, still looking to fade this one. 2 days in a row, it's essentially been short the pop. If it breaks a pre-market high, get out. If it doesn't, stay short the entirety of the day. So until that stops working, I'll go for that one every single time. Shout out to everyone in there mentioning GME. I see you guys in the chat. Hit that like, hit that subscribe.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's moving. I don't know why. We saw why DJT was moving. I don't think it was that big of a catalyst. GME is trying to go. It's not nearly through that big churn level from 2 days ago where it just got chopped up at 27 and just bamboozled people all day long if you're trying to trade off that 27. So watch out. If you're in it, great, congratulations, but it's going into that chop zone where it could run into pressure. Hertz, unfortunately, didn't do what we were hoping with that $8 break. So Hertz goes back up. No break of the $8, now back underneath the volume weighted average price. The long opportunity on Hertz, it might be abating here. I don't like it underneath VWAP. Unfortunately, this might be a no-go today.
Yeah, I liked it at that $8 mark. All right, we got 95s right there. All right, TQ's 45.50. Yeah, let's look at something else. All right, let's see what Netflix is doing. NFLX here today. The more I look at Palantir, the more I'm going to get out. But the thing is, I only have 15% left of Palantir and actually 15% left of Google. Google's the one that's fading out pretty good right now. I'm going to take... Now that I just see this skip, I told you, the more I look at it, the more I'm going to trade it. So I don't even know why I went back there. 94.43s just got some more out there as we get less and less on these trades. I might just stop out if we break through VWAP again. I don't want to hold this all the way back down. I know I was just going to look at Netflix there, but again, like we say, when you're in these positions and you're doing what you're doing, you got to be careful with this. I was actually told by one of the owners of this place to use more shares, and I did not do that. I'm already doing what I'm doing, but hey, it is what it is. All right, so 94.30. I'm going to put a stop on this one. If we get out of this, I'm going to go 94. I'm going to go 94.19s out. Oh, sorry about that. How are you here? 94.19s. Let's get out of 50% of what we have left. It's not going to be a huge amount of shares to get out because we only have 15%. Actually, we got out. We have about 13% left now of Palantir. I usually get out of 10% at a time. Now I'm trying to get out of like 2 to 3% at a time of the positions because again, as I'm using more shares, I have a little bit more outs to go with when we're doing that. So, all right, back into 153. Like I said, Google not acting the same way as Palantir. That is for sure. And not acting the same way as many of these names here today, as we just heard about Meta trying to moon as well. For Google, I'm just going to give it to 153. I don't have too many trades to do other than Google. If we go down to 153, I don't even have any more bids down there. All right, so Meta, yeah, from 500 up to 506, hitting the 200 period moving average. There's not many names right now, as I said. Meta's still up 1%. So that's trying to work itself out as well. And IBIT, when we looking at this, was it at 83? No. What is IBIT doing today? Yeah, flat. Okay, so I wasn't sure what Bitcoin was doing, but it looks like not much is the answer to that question. So
I wrote down a number on IBIT that just meant that I wasn't going to end up trading it. Like I was going through my notes, I was like, oh, I like the 47.5 on IBIT. And then when I was going through, it's like, well, we're not going to get that. And if we get that, then some dangerous things are probably happening in the market. Like Intel's just, for now, it's range bound. So top, essentially 19, bottom 1875. So you're getting about like 1 point range. It did this off the open and then plunged, then regained the high, and then you shorted it again, and then you shorted it off VWAP and that kind of a thing. But I'll cop to this one. Like when I look at this chart on Alibaba, obviously you can see it breaking the volume weighted average price, but I shouldn't have been out of it. You know, ultimately, if you're using an indicator, I'm like, oh, if it breaks a local high above VWAP, I don't want to be short above VWAP till it gets to 113. Well, it never broke the volume weighted average price. So I shouldn't have been out of this short, but I was looking at a chart that had bad data. So when I'm looking at BABA, I'm probably going to show you guys my black chart. And next available POC, but I do need to get back into this because the thesis obviously was right. The execution going to end up wrong. And it happens. It could be as simple as one of them is missing a bit of data and the volume weighted average price is off by a little bit. So let's get a little bit of a pop back in, see if we can't fade it. One more bit on Intel through the low, and then we're going to see if we can't reload it. NVIDIA not looking, so it goes into VWAP and resumes the downtrend. So that's not what you want to see. Like that is lower high, failing VWAP, doesn't look like it's a long, so I'm not going to sit there fighting it. And we said if it couldn't hold this area here, you wait for $100 for the long. So either we regain VWAP in my 103 level, or I'm waiting for $100 on NVIDIA. Let's go over to Adara. Time for happening now. I don't think economic numbers.
No, it's nothing.
The S&P 500 here putting in 2 straight bottoming tail candles on this 15-minute chart. But to start this third 15-minute candle of the day, looks like we're getting a little bit red. Still up 0.5% for the index, though. NASDAQ faring pretty similar, up about 0.35%. We had a little bit lower than expected initial jobless claims this morning, giving the market a bit of a temporary bump. But looks like as of right now, we're trying to push a little bit lower. UNH, speaking of pushing lower, this one gapped down as much as 20% this morning on an earnings. They did miss across the board, but the bigger thing was they lowered their guidance here for earnings per share for fiscal 2025 quite significantly. Then we had LLY, this one giving back a little bit as of right now, but still significantly up on the day. Eli Lilly here with positive results for its oral GLP-1 treatment in phase 3. DJT was on watch this morning. DJT holding up very nicely. We did have Trump Media and Technology Group apparently letting the SEC know they're concerned about stock manipulation with regards to a short position in Germany. So DJT on watch to the upside. GME was moving a bit as well. So lots of these tickers to keep an eye on this morning. Back to you.
All right, Palantir. Thank you, Adara, for all of that. Actually, I just realized I don't think I didn't hear Adara there, so I'll have to check my settings on ye old AirPod. There it is. Can you test Fabian to see if I hear you, my guy? There it goes. Thank you. I do. Thank you very much, Fabian, for that one. All right, we're going to keep the money in the wheelbarrow because the Palantir is just now $2. So it's $2 in the money. It was a big trade. Like I said, we're going to start catching some more out of this on the high side. But now I'm going to wait for 95.50. Moon, let's go. Let's get Palantir, see what we can do on that trade there. And then Google as well. I just took some more out in the 80s, a couple times in the 80s here, just for 30 cents. I have faith in this name, but I'm going to have to wait on it now. I'm not just going to keep scalping it out. If it's going to go, it's going to go. If not, drop down would be fine by me. We have 10% left of that one. Skull, you asked me here earlier about averaging in somewhere. Thank you so much to everybody on the chat that's been participating today. Man, we really appreciate all of the kind words and all of the looks at different stocks and all the questions that you guys ask us all of the time. I feel like shit today. I haven't had a good sleep in a while this week, man, and which is really surprising. Like, we always talk about it, and sleep will affect people differently as far as they trade. It's definitely not affecting my trading, but it's affecting my mood here. All right, can you talk about how you average into your trades? You take 50% more size every time you average into the losing trade? 50% more size. So no, I don't actually. So what I try to do is just look at my numbers and look at what I'm, what levels I'm thinking about here. Like, so for here on Google, I'll tell you an example. We put down on our sticky note 154 to 153.50. Well, it was just coming in real early, and we were already not willing to sit here because we'd already took Palantir at 93s. So when this came in, I put a bid right in between that level, 153.75. So that'll be for like half of a unit. Then that exact level that we wrote down will be the other half. So then we have 1 unit. So as it comes up back up to the upside, we do have a position that we like. Most of these positions that I'll write on here, we're trying to get 1 unit, right? And as Neil so eloquently posted before, every trade on every stock will have different unit sizing and different expectations. So For me on Google, it's a $153 stock, so it would be a little different than Palantir. And then again, part of it also has to go with how much you trust the name and how much you really like the level. Google was one that we didn't even really talk about early. There was no stories there. So Palantir would be more the stock for me that I was looking at for that level. And then we wrote down 93. So again, like half a unit there, and then more as it came into 93. And then we had about 2 or 3 units on by the time Palantir came down into this area because it was a strong stock for us, a stock that we really liked. So once it came into those levels, we were just able to have our full position on. And then I told you the stop was 92.50. So that's the one thing that I need to work on. Like, if that just keeps on going down, then I'm going to lose like 60, 70 cents on 3 units. Right? And so, yeah, I have to be wrong a lot more than I'm right. And thankfully, the other way around. Yeah, more right, thanks. More right than I'm wrong. And, you know, that's not that great to do that. So I do think that you need to look at your risk to reward. Like if you have 1-to-1, that's great. I think you want to get a little bit higher, which is why when we're starting to take some out here at 95 on Palantir, I'm holding for more, but also understanding that that's still a great move. So, and that's also why at 9:43 today, I told you we were at 1.5 times our daily goal, and we're actually not that much further away from that rate now. So we're basically the same net we were now that we were 35 minutes ago, and we have all of these outs, and part of that reason is because Google is coming back in a little bit. So all the wins that we've made on Palantir right here so far, look, I'm up almost 10x on Palantir than what I'm on Google. So it's a Justin Timberlake, Cry Me a River type of thing here. But at the end of the day, you know, trade where you believe the best trades are. You know, like Neil took a couple shots on NVIDIA, has Intel, has BABA. Like at the end of the day, you're just trying to be green as a trader, right? But I think that's a great question. I try to average into the levels that I like. And then when I feel like I'm getting a little bit offside is generally when I am. And I don't want to average into these prices. And I can feel it. You know, you get that feeling like, oh my God, I'm not doing something right. And when you have that feeling, that's the biggest change for me, then you hit the door and you get out of that trade and you just say, you know what? I'm wrong. Don't be stubborn about trading. You know
where you're wrong. That's all
exactly. And just say, you know what? It's not going where I thought it would. So forget about it. You know,
exactly. That's what.
Otherwise, you put too much damage on the board.
That's why I'm not in NVIDIA anymore. Like, look at this chart of NVIDIA. There we go.
And Spidey sense.
I'm on UNH right now because UNH, little double bottom here in UNH. I like it for an SSR bounce. The second it actually sets up, giving me that wick bottom or the real break of trend or just a pre-market low, I want to take a shot at. But we're trending down over there in NVIDIA, so I'm not back into the long until it shows me that there's something strong about it or giving me some kind of an indication that we're going to go and continue to the upside. If anything, the mistake today was Alibaba. And, you know, that's, you know, I had 2 charts showing a different indicator, and that's up to me to have noticed that before the market even opened up. So that's on me. Like, it never broke VWAP, and I've jumped out of the trade as if it had and was trending above it, but that just was never true. So UNH, it's at a bit of a double bottom at 470. So just to give an idea, there's a trend line. It's a little bit early in the day for me for a trend line break trade, so I'm not jumping into it just because it broke the trend line, but it's the first big even dollar test since the open, and it's already bounced once. So ideally, you do a false break of this level, come right back up through it, I get long back up through it, put the stop at the local high, and play it to, I get it, I'm going to say VWAP, it'll be like off by a little bit because this one's missing a bit of data, but not by much. So it's about to break $470 right now. Intel just ticked the low, so I got some more out there. I'm still going to short 19, but there's the break on UNH of 490. What would have to happen is it would need to then immediately try to close back above on this 3-minute and then look for the long back through. The spread is going to be a little bit fun here because the spread is like 50 cents. So the offer is above 470 and the bid's going to be underneath it. Now you're starting to break down a little bit more heavily. All right, this might not be bouncing here. In that case, I just wait for the actual pre-market low, which is like $10 lower. So we might have to wait this one out on UNH. It's not finding any strength right now. Meta's at the low of the day. NVIDIA's breaking the low of the day as well. Let's go to Adara.
Just be aware here, we do have some comments coming through from the president of Blackstone, who is Jonathan D. Gray. He is saying here that apparently these capital markets have a lot of underlying momentum and things they can recover very quickly if tariff issues are resolved. So Jonathan D. Gray here, president of Blackstone, saying that there is a nice potential for market recovery should we get any resolution on these tariffs. Back to you.
Think?
Yeah. I mean, imagine we got resolution to the tariffs and the market didn't recover. I mean, that could happen too, but that would be that would be a problem. So here's an example right here. See, we just broke 153. That was going to be our out there for Google. So I'll buy back right now. We'll be long right now at 153.20s, and we will try to bid just a little bit more down in here into 153, just in case that was a false break. So we're still up on Google. We're going to give it to that low right now. Give it 10 more cents, 152.89 or so. We got out immediately on that. We didn't want it to hurt us, so we wound up getting out, and now we're right back into Google right now as it starts to climb a little bit higher. Let's take out 20% here and then another 20% there if we can get another move higher. So there it is. Now we're actually higher than we were before. So there goes Google, nicely cooking. Yes, yes, yes. Spin it. We're at our highest spot we had all day, and we just got stopped out, believe it or not. So there it goes. Nice move back up now for Google. Go, my guy. We got that 1 unit back on again, so we're able to reload it down near that bottom. So there goes Google again. Now we're okay. I mean, thank you. So there goes Google. See how we didn't reload anything, man. We had we had less than 10%. We had it was about 10%, probably 7 or 8% left. It comes down. We lose on the 7 or 8%. We realize that maybe we got that wick bottom there. Not a wick bottom, but it breaks 153, right? That's going to be a big level there. Then we get right back in and get right back out. We have 40%. Actually, we have 35% left of this trade because we want to take advantage. I'm going to get another out here at 30 if we can. We want to take advantage of the bounce off of 153. We know Google is weak today. It's red. The market is green. Google is red. There it is. Yes. Boom. That's what we're talking about. Let's go. Oh, boy. This is starting to... Now we're seeing it, man. Now we're seeing it again. If the market wants to fly, fine. We've got 30% left on this one. That was... For me, that's just about as textbook as it can get. Hold the small piece down, get stopped out, and this is exactly the thing that we've been working on, is to try to wait for the opportunity to do what we have to do. And there it is, man. So now we're getting lighter and lighter. And I don't feel any ways about telling you guys that, like, I'm piecing these things out as we start to rip higher. Because, again, we're really noticing the difference that, you know, when you have these winners, you need to take them. I used to be like, you know, try to scalp like 5, 6, 10, 7, 8, 9 pennies. But with this kind of market right now, the scalp, and again, it's going to be stock specific, but you want to try to go, like an Intel move is not going to be as great as a Google move as far as penny wise, but percentage wise, that's really what you're looking for, right? You're looking.
Hertz is going.
Oh, Hertz is going through 8. Okay, so that.
Well, it's not through 8 yet. Hopefully it'll give us a bounce off VWAP, but This is the setup that I think you want. It's a bottoming tail candle. I think you trapped some shorts with this move in here. You broke the low and immediately put in like a reversal candle, so it looked like it was going to be a short here, and then it blasted through the volume weighted average price. So I'm looking, sorry, I got to cancel UNH because that's at the low of the day. I just had to cancel my UNH breakout long because it's not going to go. So I want to be buying this one off the volume weighted average price over there on Hertz. The other thing that's happening at the same time, NVIDIA is threatening to actually break. So now you can say you've got a couple of points and a trend line on NVIDIA. This is what I want to see. An actual bounce that gives me a trend from the open and a chance to break that trend. And then if it's not at 11, if we're not at $100, that's the only other way I'm getting in, because we're not going to be, if we're at VWAP and there was a good long setup, then I got to have it. So there's your double bottom. There's your trend. We break the trend. Then I try to get into that bad boy. ScarJo Rabbit, what's wrong with the Dow Jones? UNH is wrong with the Dow Jones. The diamonds or the Dow Jones is price weighted. UNH is the most expensive stock on there by actual dollars. So it's like 8%, or at least it was 8% of the Dow, and it's down 20%. So it weighs unreasonably much on the Dow, unfortunately. It's just the way that they construct it. So UNH did not hold 470, so I wait for 460 for the SSR bounce. Just trying to be very particular with that play, because it is bleeding, everybody, to the downside. NVIDIA as well. Like, NVIDIA just tried to break that trend, and it's right back to breaking the low. So it's just got to be a specific entry. I got to hit save to make sure that stays around. So if we don't actually break this trend to the upside, we wait for the 100 level, all morning long on those. Then we wait for the 100 level we bounced yesterday on NVDA. Intel still hasn't broken its low of the day, but it hasn't given me a reload either. So it's very much like yesterday's trade where the opening range kind of chills out, waiting for the break of the low like it did, and then you reload at the high. Still hasn't broken that low.
Yeah, a couple more outs there on Palantir as it gets above $94 again. Like we just get see what I'm saying? This is the thing, like we haven't reloaded, everything is fine. We just got another piece out right there of Palantir. So right now I have under 5% left of Palantir and 25% left on Google. But right now I just want to see what's going on with our chat here because we have only 1K. We have over 9,000 watching right now. Let's get this like button a little higher. If you guys can do that, that would be fantastic. Let YouTube know that you want this one every day. We're here live every single day. We want to thank everybody for watching. And on that note, I want to see exactly who's in the chat. So let's just have a quick look at who's in the chat right now with us. As all I do is stare at this thing for the most part, looking for some trade ideas as we sit in these two. So, hey, what's going on? Oh, people are spinning right now. Oh, nice little look. Okay, here we go. Now it's starting to get, okay. All right, how am I going to say this? What's up to David Starr? What's up, Hurt Scrambler? What's up, Nene, Diaz, Nick, Rich? This is going nuts. Bazu, I don't even know if that's your name. Sean, hey, well, good name there. Dinkelberg is here as well. Oh, my God, why did I do this? Everyone waving is who I'm going to try to say hi to. Pop Smoke? What was that? What's up, After Star there? Michelle Lloyd, Christopher, Maroon 5. What's going on, Maroon 5? All right, let's go, boys. No, that's not your name. What's up, Todd6060? Shout out to Streamlad. Yo, the Piper says howdy. What's going on, Piper? What's up to everybody that's here? Joe, Ty, Randy, Rob, Keisha, whatever, man. What's going on with everybody? Leo, Jarhead is in the building. What's up, Jarhead? Put a smile on my face, my guy. What's up, William? Aziz is here as well. That is roll call. Love all of you. Thank you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now we're going, the chat, I can't keep up, Sheep. I don't even know how you do this. What's up to Smoke? Like when I started doing this a couple years ago, it definitely was not moving this way. That's how we know that you guys are lit and with us right now. Everybody waving. What's up, Mar? What's up, Gabe? What up, all? Right there. Thank you again for joining us as we continue to have a lot of fun. Okay, well, that was fun. Thank you for that. Everybody, and we'll maybe do that a little bit more as we want to say shout out to everybody that's here in the chat with us. It's only 10:16 right now. Lots of time left in this day. Lots of time left for UNH. Nice. Lots of time left also for Intel to work out. And on that note, I'm going to put another out here for another 1% of what we have left right now on Palantir. We'll see if we can get back up to VWAP, but that was a lot of fun. We are going to lose on our last little bit of Google, and this is what I'm talking about. If this goes down, we're out at 152.89 right now. So go ahead. I know you had UNH.
No, I just stared down like $1.50 in the money and didn't take it, but there's a reason why. Okay, so it's not a scalp trade. And ultimately, we had the break of the trend in UNH. It popped right to, I had it at 468 change. So I got some at 10s and I got some at like 70s for like a price in the mid. It popped like $1.50 right into 470. Remember, this isn't a scalp trade. This is a break of trend to play to VWAP. That's $8 upside. Like the first out on that move is like $3-4 for me. It's not going to be $1.50. It's just not going to happen. With CrowdStrike, we were able to grab it, but not today. At the end of the day, this one's going to come in. We waited for it, took our shot, but ultimately I'm not going to scalp that for $1.50 because to me you're risking underneath there to the low. Like you're risking like $1. It was about $1.40, $1.50 on that play. And when it's an SSR bounce, I'm looking for an exponential move to the upside. While that happened, Hertz did come back in here on Hertz, looking for that VWAP hold. Okay, this chart too. Looking for the VWAP hold, but it's not holding VWAP. And Hertz didn't halt. Just missing a bar in there. No halt. I mean, there's no VWAP hold on Hertz. No break of $8. Keep waiting for this to look a little bit stronger over the volume weighted average price, and it's just not doing it. So bit of a disappointment over there on Hertz. Just check back in because we are still waiting for the reload. Whoops, that's why. Why am I at $20? Still waiting for the reload on Intel. The last time it popped to that 19 high, we were able to get 97s. It hasn't been able to break VWAP since. So it's just doing that trend down thing. So just keep shorting the pops in this as it continues to the low and lower and lower. Meta just broke. I think the next one for me, because UNH seems like it's headed down for that absolute bottom, is going to be 100 on NVIDIA. So the best part about today for me is that I liked NVIDIA to the long side. When it doesn't look like a long, I'm not back in it till it sets up. And it's seeming like it wants to set up at that $100 level, or at least close to the $100 level for the trend break. That's the shot that I want. You get one that pops and gets me to VWAP, and that can be it. As far as I'm concerned, NVIDIA looks pretty sad. I agree with you in the chat there. The Piper saying it looks sad. It looks too sad to want to jump into a long that doesn't give you the right entry point. So hold on to your shorts. The market's breaking the low of the day. Yikes. Meta just broke the $500 level. Hertz, unfortunately, can't seem to hold on to VWAP yet. Still waiting for this to look a little bit stronger. And then we can jump into that one and take a shot at it. The $8 breakout, it could still happen later in the day. It's just not right now.
All right, so there it goes, Google. We added 50% to our net on Google with that last trade, but it does come out right there as the diamond hands can't hold on forever right there as Google winds up going down. But there's a perfect example, again, of losing, to Neil's point there about UNH. Now, I know UNH will wind up being the L there, but to the point of risk to reward, right? It's like right there on Google, 17 cents of a loser, but this one actually printed over 60 cents to the upside. So that was good. We would have always liked to get them all out, but like I said, man, there's not much we can do with that. All right, we do have Nat Gas coming out as well. Let's check out what Apple's doing real quick here, just to say what's up to everybody that's trading Apple. Pass. All right, let's see what's going on with Tesla today as well. 240 and change. Let's see if there's been. Okay, so this one again. Look at the pre-market. This is for Tesla. I really feel like I'm going to do. I probably won't do any charting this weekend or anything, but I'll just pretend like I will. All right, I'm going to do some charting this weekend. And this one right here, 244.50, 245. Like, and what I wanted to say is that what I would look at for the charting, and you could use e-signal for this, great back testing. I'm trying to look to see if we generally hold either the pre-market tops or what does the pre-market bottom or top break look like, because Tesla just gets so crazy off the open. Like that break right there in the pre-market, that pre-market low, that gave us a huge trade right off the open. And then now that we've broken down, we come back up into 244.50 right there, and that held. So like I want to look, it's like when I look back at and do some charting, which generally I'll do it after market here during the middle of the day. I generally do not do any work at home, to be honest with you. But this 250 to 251 to 250, it just, I literally, like, this is the thing, like, even tonight, and I know everybody has different things going on, but like, it's just an absolute gong show at my place. Like tonight we have hockey and chess, and last night actually was pretty good. We just had CrossFit, which is fine. That's an hour for the kids there yesterday. But most days it's like double barrel action, which I'm so happy to be with. And then even this weekend, I'm getting messages right now. There's 4 baseball events going on, and I'm supposed to be at that hockey event. They asked my daughter to read the Little League pledge in front of everybody there at High Park. Yeah, and we had to turn it down. We can't even be there I can't even be there for opening day at High Park. So yeah, man, it's absolutely wild. But hey, that's
the
what,
one thing I'm down. Oh, go.
Yeah, that's what life is all about, though. I know you and I are the dads around here.
Well, but I'll say this.
And
though.
soon to be Sharif.
No, but even before I had my daughter, I still didn't do like charting. I like to come in early and do that charting stuff if I'm going to. I'd rather not do it at home and get distracted.
Yeah,
there was a moment, anyways, when my daughter was a toddler. I remember I was doing something related to work, and just the reaction when she was really young, when Daddy was not paying attention, and I'm like, that's not me, man. I don't want to be that guy. But I believe we're supposed to. We're still trending down. 100's a dollar away on Nvidia. We could get there by 100 by the time we come back from the small cap recap.
All right, let's go.
I think. Shit, these markets.
Let's do that recap pretty quickly then so we can get to all that NVIDIA action. If you look here, the IWM doing a double top on the 15-minute right off the open, pushing to the downside, but actually still green on the day is the Russell 2000. STEM here, this is STEM Inc. This one, penny stock, no news, but they have a 29% short float. Then we have HTZ. HTZ, arguably not the smallest of small caps here. We do have a market cap of about $2.2 billion, but of course, Hertz making a big move. We initially had Pershing Square, of course, Bill Ackman's firm, reporting a 12.7 million share stake in the company. But then, right before the close yesterday, hours after this news came out, then we had CNBC reporting actually this stake is 19.8%, which would make Pershing Square the second largest holder of the company when you combine the swaps and the shares. Then we have SXTC. This is XST Pharmacy. This is a Chinese company. And so no catalyst on this one either for SXTC, but one to just be aware of here, guys. Nice mover, 500,000 shares. Back to you.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
I know.
I'm wearing the same shirt. Oh, I'm wearing the... There you go. Now it's almost exactly the same. I got to put a sweater on over it because it's always too cold in this, I almost said theater, in the office in here. As we're breaking lows. The NASDAQ continues to go lower. I'm staring down two things at the same time. And this is always, that's just how the market is, right? Like you're going to get to the pre-market low on UNH at the same moment that NVIDIA is going to test the $100 level. So sorry, UNH, NVIDIA, 100 is just a little bit more of a thing. Right, we're breaking the low on Intel. I'll adjust my sights when it comes to shorting the pop on Intel, but that's breaking the low. Here we are. We're now underneath the 101 level. We're absolutely tanking in here. You're getting big time acceleration to the downside. Pretty much everything is just lost. Whatever the local bid was, just kind of puke-ish to the downside. I don't even want to look at Alibaba right now because I'm just going to give myself that FOMO. I know we had that short and we didn't really hang on to it, and that was all on me. But want to see if we can't get a press just a little bit lower. Give me any kind of a bottoming tail candle. It could do this, it could do that, and then we're going to try to go long off this 100 on NVDA. I know there's other names that are moving. All right, I have this one up on another chart. I just want to quickly show you guys AMD. Whoops, how is that still in? There we go. Got to show you guys AMD, for whatever reason, not bleeding the same way as NVIDIA. So file that one away. Advanced Micro Devices catching, I mean, it just broke the low of the day as well, but only down 1%, whereas NVIDIA is screaming right back into 100, down 3.5%. So if NVIDIA doesn't hold and the futures do, the TSM holds up pretty well, it's not the craziest idea to go look at maybe AMD for a little bit of relative strength. But we're still pressing right into the 100 level on NVIDIA as it's getting really, really nasty. TX Trader just said Apple underneath VWAP. Well, yeah. Load. It's not really. It's at VWAP there. No, it's not. It's not under. Apple looks strong. So if you're looking at Apple today, like AMD, relative strength, but much better. You're holding the lows here. I wasn't really looking at Apple for a trade today. It's an inside day. It hasn't broken the pre-market range, but that's pretty good. Futures bounce. I don't know why you wouldn't be thinking Apple's at least in that long bucket. So that's just a great look. So good look, everybody that was just paying attention to Apple. You want to find that relative strength if you can. NVIDIA is going to be the one that we've been waiting around for this $100 level. So I'm not going to be getting too far away from it. When I can show you this is what we're in, Intel doing what it did yesterday. So same thing. Like you just want to stay short and then short the pops on that while we wait for NVIDIA still pressing. At this point, I just think we're going to get to $100 on this bad boy. Almost no way. Shout out to you, Afri Touch. Welcome to Trader TV Live. Yeah, NVIDIA is bleeding. It's bringing the market down with it. The NASDAQ just turned red. It is going to be nuts. You're starting Trader Forever. Drop down has slowed in NVIDIA. Slow wing a little bit. You can see like the biggest, heaviest candle came in when we broke 101. So it's decelerating since that move, but it's still very heavy. I'm looking at the tape, staring it down, and it's still very much heavy into those lows. Oh yeah, of course, UNH. Yeah, UNH bounced off 460. There's your initial $4 or $5 move. But what are you going to do? I said NVIDIA was more important to me. So, You know, UNH will go from here just to slap me in the face. Shout out to. I was about to shout someone out in the chat, and then I saw Donald Trump in there, but you know, I wasn't trying to shout out the president. I was going to say shout out to those that pointed out that Apple, because it was pointed out just a minute or two ago, as the market was breaking the lows, that Apple was at VWAP and holding. So Apple looking relatively strong at this moment. I don't know if it still is because I'm focused on NVIDIA.
I now have 3% or so. We already told you about how much I have on Palantir. I was waiting for 92.50 to break, but now there's more obviously happening as the market is now red, down 0.29, which is kind of awesome. We're going to be down from where we were at 9:43 when we said we were up about a day and a half. We were up about a day 1.7. Right now, we're just a little bit underneath that, and part of it is because of this move back in on the market. We had dripped out of all of this. We talked about it breaking through 94, that we wanted our stop in there. We got the stop for half of our position, and at that point, we only had 10% anyways, a couple more out. So we are getting lower and lower here into 92.50 and into the market, as I know you're already on NVIDIA, so I'm not... Did you take the long yet, or it's not? No. Okay, I was going to say.
The tape is still, they're just battering the bid right now.
Whoa, AMD, wow.
They just smoked somebody again at the $50 for like 50,000 shares, one shot.
Getting smoked. AMD down too. Like almost the same. I don't know.
No, more.
Oh, no, NVIDIA looks.
NVIDIA's down.
Yeah, NVIDIA looks like cascading right into there. But yeah, I was more looking at, look at this 5-minute chart for advanced micro devices. Boom, right down there into 87 again. The money destroyer is advanced today. That is for sure. All right, so 92.50. Looks like you may want to hold down in and around here on PLTR. So we'll let it settle down. We'll punch a little bit there at 65. And then now we'll wait. I just put another bid at 92.50. I'm going to give it to the close here of 92. So if we break through this $92 area, then we're gone on Palantir right now. So nice little dip buy opportunities potentially for Palantir. So we're going to do that right now and see if this market can hold. As Adair is going to bring us all of the news right now. Yeah, not gas storage right there coming out. That shouldn't really affect the market, but definitely we're going downside now. All right, so now we're into Palantir. Our average price is 92.73. And just to tell you, we have about... How many shares I have the first time? So we have about 15% or 20% of the shares that we had in total when this was happening. So a little bit of a lighter position right now. We're long. It's in the money. It's flat actually now at 92.70 on that play. Google, wow, Google's getting kicked right now. Look, what the hell just happened to Google?
Whoa, what the?
Yeah, the market is really...
What the heck, Google?
Something is going on with Google right now. I don't have anything in my ear, but there it goes, right there to the downside. And this is what we talk about. How in the hell is this guy actually up on Google right now today? Because there it goes to the downside. Nice pressure there on GOOGL. Downside. Maybe it was just a break of 150, but that move happened at 152. So there it goes, man. Everything getting to the downside right now. We'll wait to hear from Adara. What up with that? But that's a nice move down. Was anything else really going right now? The stocks? Oh, was that an NVIDIA break? Is that why? No. Okay. All right. What's up, Dara?
I saw one headline here that could be the contributor, but this isn't like circulating popularly on X yet. I had to search the ticker to find this. Looks like the Wired is saying that companies in the EU are starting to look for ways to ditch Amazon, Google, and Microsoft cloud services because they're worried about some security risks from the US. So that's one potential story here as reported by the Wired. Light circulation on X, but again, it is worth noting that also mentioned other companies, of course, Amazon and Microsoft as well. If I see anything else on that, I'll let you know. Here's Bitcoin, though. BTC consolidating very much near its lows on this 5-minute chart here. And we had a little bit of an interesting story in this space as well. We had Binance CEO here talking to Financial Times, Richard Tang, saying that he basically believes that the U.S.'s more crypto-friendly approach under Trump is a good look for the firm. And he also said it's basically leading other countries to take similar action. So Richard Tang here trying to be, according to this Financial Times interview, on the front lines of getting this, I guess, pro-crypto or crypto-friendly regulation internationally. So keep an eye on Bitcoin with that in mind, always on watch. Here's Binance. Speaking of Binance, let's take a look at what these crypto plays are doing. So Bitcoin relatively flat, Ethereum up about 1%, up or down about 1%, basically flat here on the day as well. BNB up about 0.4%. Solana, though, having a nice day, up about 3%. Solana by far the best performer here A little bit flatter mix for everything else, guys. Back to you.
Instead of Meta.
There we go. Back into Palantir. We just took some out there at 93, so that was going to be a good one. So we'll go awesome. On the reload there for Palantir. Yeah, we'll look at Google, Sharif.
Look at Google, Sharif.
Yeah, you got to look at Google if you want to know what's happening. It might also be happening to Amazon, by the way, as well. As, you know, we talk about some of the cloud, the big hyperscalers there. So we have, yeah, good one. But Meta is one as well, but I don't think that that's necessarily going to, well, yeah, Meta off that 500. I saw some people in the chat were like, 500 longs have been working. Yeah, they have until they don't, but that only goes down to 498. So you could
Apple's holding up really well there.
Apple's different because it doesn't really have any like, you know, they haven't made that huge move into the hyperscaler world yet, as they were using some ChatGPT. ChatGPT is in Apple Intelligence. It's just they don't have the rollout quite where they need it yet. But there goes Apple. Apple's still up 1% today. So considering like what Apple's doing, what Google's doing, Google down 2% and change, Apple's still up 1%. So maybe Apple does have it all figured out, but I doubt it. We'll wait to see what winds up happening. I still want to be short Apple underneath 200. Same reason why we're looking at, I mean, we're on NVIDIA here at 100, but yeah, like that, when that slips, you have to be sort of quick on the keys there and watch out, because again, a big psychological level. This is the next one.
Oh, 100%.
Here on NVIDIA. So
just so for clarity, when I just taken a bounce on NVIDIA when I saw that Google, and I didn't even see it myself. I kind of turned my head and saw Sean's chart and punched some out of NVIDIA, because I'm like, well, if something bad just happened, I didn't want to be all in front of $100. That didn't make any sense. It's not a good story for NVIDIA. It could still break 100, but there's no way I'm jumping back into the shares that I punched out unless I see us bounce off the 100. We're retesting the lows in here. So I need to see us hold the 100 level and then jump back in. But my first gut, and I did this before with, I forget what stock it was, if I see a crazy spike, my first assumption is some kind of tariff headline or whatever it might be, and I'd rather shoot first to cover if I'm in the wrong way, and then worry about the rest. So unless I see a bounce off 100 first, I'm not getting back into the shares that we got out of. And right now, it doesn't look like we want to do it.
Ready.
And yeah, I said this might happen, that I was going to pick NVIDIA and not get into the UNH bounce. Well, UNH did bounce from 460 to 470, but you can only look at one of these at a time. That's the one issue with, you could maybe automate a strategy like that, but that's the one issue with staring down a mean reversion, is you've got to be on it in the right moment, for sure. But I said NVIDIA at $100 was going to be the one I took, so it is what it is.
all right. Yeah, we do have eSignal. And again, if you're looking at key levels, you may want to use charting software that you can trust. Scan that QR code right there. Trade smarter, not harder. Grab 1 month free, your first month free. And if you don't like it, then drop it, get out of there. You can do tick replays. We can literally just replay what just happened in the market. You can look at how your the market is going lower here. We may break again here, but you could back test all your strategies with ease. There's tick charts, there's scanners, there's hot lists. The 500 symbols is huge. Like, that's how these hot lists work. Able to scan over 500 symbols at once, and you can actually put them on your own curated list. Just simply, there's the screener right there. Technical analysis, fundamental analysis, values, anything you want, it's right there. I mean, check out that moving average. This is what I have set up in my chart right now. So it's like moving average, 10 period on the daily, so on and so forth. You could set that up. You could do it all with eSignal. Super easy, great customer support. Get going with eSignal. So, all right, man, here we go. Thank you for that, Fabian. We are just sitting on our hands. You asked Skull why we reloaded Palantir. We've only traded 2 names today. They're both really have been good for me so far, that's for sure, including Google Long, believe it or not. Google Long is still a top stock right there. But you could see here, that was $92 yesterday. Obviously, the close looks like it went out around $92.50, $92.70. So I just wanted to reload it here at 92. So that was going to be my drop zone right there. You can see yesterday afternoon, there's 92 right there. We had a problem getting back up through it. When it failed, it tanked. And then we held 92 pretty good right here, including right there where we broke it and went to 93.50 at the end of the day. So I'm just going to stay long, until we break 92. So, but we just got a little bit more out. We're long at 50, I think it's 64s. That's a 92. These are 290. One's at 90, one's at 98 right there. So we took 30 cents on the reload so far. I actually have half left. So this is what I'm saying, 1-to-1. We didn't even get 1-to-1 yet on the reload, but we're trying to hold out for a little bit more. And if we do wind up losing on this trade, we'll give back, if I just do the math properly, probably about 20% or so of what we made on this move. So we're going to try it. Like I said, man, traders got to trade, and I like the idea. We'll trust it for a minute, but look at how this market is bleeding back down into the downside. So there has rarely been an up move today. Like you had one move right here at basically at 9:45, where we went to the upside. Ever since then, there's been nothing. There were not even anywhere near VWAP. We're nowhere near the 50-period moving average. So the shorts are bangers.
What's your Apple?
Today for sure. So there we go, man. Just a huge move down in the market, down 0.63. Happy Easter to all. But you know, you'd think that we would get a nice green day today for that. But let's wait to see. Hey, man, look, Easter's not today, right? Maybe crypto bounces on Easter Sunday there. All right, here we go, man. Palantir, nice move. Let's see if we can get that long, strong
Bitcoin's
and long
tanking, well,
right now on PLTR.
Yeah, look, Bitcoin's going down as well. Like everything is the only big cap name that's not falling that I've seen is Apple, man. Like Apple's holding on for dear life. So we did get a bounce and a green candle off 100. So NVIDIA's trying to make that bounce. Let me just quickly, I said it and didn't show up, apologies. Apple looks really, really good. I feel like the second this NVIDIA trade resolves itself, I'd probably jump over and see if Apple's still holding the volume weighted average price. That's intense, man. The market is breaking down and down a half a point. For Apple to be doing this is incredible. It's spectacular. And I know it's not moving much, but in this market, if you're not bleeding, that's really good. That said, this is the mean reversion I was looking for. You have broken the downward trend, as you can see on NVIDIA. I want this one getting back into the volume weighted average price. I'm offering in front of ones. I'm offering at 101.5 and then 102 and then the volume weighted average price on NVIDIA. I have put a trailing stop on Intel as well because that has its trend down looks exactly the same. It's a whole boatload of red candles, and when it breaks that trend, which it hasn't done just yet, I'm going to jump out of it. I think that was a call for Adara.
Here is a very mixed sector board today. Finance to the upside with the exception of PGR. A little bit weaker there. They reported earnings earlier this week. Then we have health technology. Great look here for Eli Lilly after announcing positive results for the phase 3 trial of its oral GLP-1. Energy minerals strong across the board. Consumer non-durable strong. Transportation really strong. Uber and UPS both to the upside here. Communications looking good. Utilities looking good. In retail trade with the exception of Meg 7 player Amazon actually to the upside as well. But let's talk about these tech stocks because they're really dragging down the market today, or at least that's how it appears. Google, Microsoft both red on the day. GOGL with that downside move. I still have not found any concrete story to explain that drop other than, as I mentioned earlier, there was a headline lightly circulating on X suggesting that the Wired reported here that I guess the EU companies are trying to avoid these cloud services from American companies due to concerns over security. But NVIDIA, Broadcom red here, a lot of these chips red. But as Neil mentioned earlier, Apple to the upside. So AAPL might be the Lone Ranger trying to hold things to the upside in the tech names. Back to you.
It ain't no Lone Ranger, my guy. It's got the best wingman available right there. And it is going to be easily the banger right there, Palantir right now. We're doing it again, and we're doing it live. It's another $1 right there on Palantir. So, I mean, you know, the good just keeps on getting gooder. Shout out to all the English teachers out there. Goes to show you, I guess you don't need to be great at English to be a trader, but there it goes. Nicely, or good at anything, really. Nice move to the upside right there for PLTR, and we go boom on that one. So, I mean, yeah, look, we're having, again, another real... Look, I've only traded 2 names today, right? And we're 2 for 2. and it's just Palantir and it's Google. And these have been real good trades. We'll look for some more, but I just stick where the bread continues to be buttered, man. And there it goes. It's another move right there. PLTR, them and Apple. There must be other strong names, but more gooder is this stock. What's up, Travis? What's up, everybody there in the chat as we continue to go? We are now back higher than we were finally now at. Wow, there goes. Palantir is now more than $1 in the money. So we'll go dollar clubbing right here again. And hope everyone has a great Easter. It's 10:43. There it goes, man. $1 and change right now for PLTR.
Yeah, that trade in these trades in this segment brought to you by our good friends over at Trade the Pool. First, it was commission-free trading. Robinhood made that happen. The next shift is even bigger. It's limited risk trading. And Trade the Pool's rewriting the stock trading rules. Your only risk is a flat $47 fee one time. How's it possible? Well, you were trading on the firm's capital. No deposits are needed. No personal capital at stake. This is about breaking barriers, not your saving account. Just real opportunity without the fear. Scan the QR code, get 10% off, and join tradethepool.com. Check link in the description as well. Shout out to Trade the Pool. Let stocks rock and roll. I kind of like that one, although I like that, stock drop and roll. But the market, we just try to recap here because we went right to 101 on NVIDIA. Any guess what happened at the even dollar level? Well, at this point, it's kind of obvious. Went right into the 101. I actually was offering the second leg at 101.25. But the second you saw it stacked up in a hold, I just kind of hit the next leg out. So I'm now half out of this position. If you can hold a higher low, then we're good. I did trail out of Intel. I said that if it broke the trend, I would trail out of it. So obviously, I'm not going to bother with the trend line. Obviously, it broke the trend. I want to reload this around VWAP. If it breaks VWAP and gives me 19 even, fair enough. That's been the place to go short. So we're out of Intel. I do want to get back into this. The market, while putting in a bottoming tail candle, like when the market was green, this was red. So I don't really see any reason I won't jump back into that trade at some point. As mentioned, when we start resolving on NVIDIA, I wanted to go over to Apple because it wasn't on the list before, but it's holding a great trend to the upside. Let's go to Adara. We have breaking news.
I have a headline here on Google, and I want to clarify. There's not a lot of details on this, so be careful. But we were wondering why we had that drop there in GOGL. This headline just now circulating on X as of a minute or two ago. It just refreshed now, though it definitely wasn't out when we first got that drop. But nonetheless here, seeing this headline, Google partially loses U.S. advertising tech antitrust case. So obviously that's not a lot of details. I'm going to continue looking into this. Benzinga does not have it yet, but regardless, Google here reportedly partially losing, quote unquote, its U.S. advertising antitrust case. Back to you.
You have the option to like and subscribe. This trade has unlimited upside.
All right, thanks, Joe, for that one. Thanks, Adara, for that update there. I mean, yeah, look, let's just pay the fine and move on. I mean, that's, I think, the best
that's usually
thing
what happens.
For Google to do. U.S. just never ceases to amaze me how we punish our own companies and just don't even care about anything else. TikTok's fine. Who cares if it's Chinese run, right? All right, what's for lunch? Okay, here we go on this lovely day, Friday. It's Thursday, April the 17th. All right, this morning we had fresh fruit bowl. We talked about crustless vegetable quiche, which was really good. And today, though, I'm going to initially slap a fail on this, but I don't know what it's going to look like. But we've already had something very similar to this this week. Today, I'm not a big fan, but we'll see how it's made because I think it's very specific how you got to make these things. By the way, right now, Palantir, absolutely Moon City, now $1.20 in the money, and this just keeps on going. What that reload down there at 92.50, we just should have made it again, but at the end of the day, it is beef chili. Yeah, I think it could be okay. We'll see what happens with Mexican rice. And then here we go. Toppings, shredded lettuce, diced tomatoes, green onion, sour cream, tortilla salad with chili lime vinaigrette there. So beef chili with a bunch of toppings and some Mexican Chilean rice.
Huh?
I don't know. I just said that because I see my guy Fabian over there.
Okay.
So shout out to Fabian. Fabian, what is, if you could say that Chile was known for a specific food, you know, is there something that's more popular over there? I assume beef with, I don't know. Tell me, carnitas, what's going? Empanadas. Okay, we're hearing it in our ear. Ooh, ceviche.
I love ceviche.
Oh, what'd you call me? Oh, it's called corn cake. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah.
Okay, like shepherd's pie. Okay.
Yeah, so there we go. Thank you
Corn cake. Yeah,
for all
that's
of
an
that.
interesting name for
Yeah, yeah, so interesting there. Thank you for that. That is What's for Lunch. It's 10:48 right now, and we're getting ready for the midday show.
I had the worst ceviche.
Oh, yeah? You don't want to have bad ceviche.
Look, when I went to Paris a couple of years ago, it was a great trip, and all the best food, it was fantastic food, but we made one mistake. We kind of got caught not eating dinner, and we had visited the Eiffel Tower, and like, let's just stop somewhere close. So I went to one tourist trap because we were hungry, and the ceviche was about as bad as you would expect. It was like the second most expensive meal that we had, and was by far the worst. Do not eat near tourist traps in Europe. I knew it, and we did it anyways because I was hungry. But someone just asked me, what do I mean by in front of? So I don't know 100% the context you mean, but I'm going to make a guess that it had to do with either getting out in front of 101 or getting long in front of 100 on NVIDIA. It just means going in front of either you see a massive order or a big order and you just put your offer, like if it's at 101, you put your offer at 197 or 98 and just get filled in front. Or it could just be a big psychological level. Like I never even saw the 100 bid, but it bounced off 100, so we go long in front. But that was, I'd say I would put the order in front of the 101 seller that I saw in the 90s. I think I put like 98 or 97 or 98. So getting in front of it just usually means a level and putting an order underneath if it's an offer, or it could just mean a theoretical level like the $100 one where I didn't even see a big bid. I do believe it is time to look at what has been a weak US dollar.
Indeed it has, Neil. We do have this DXY continuing this downtrend. We've kind of had a series of downtrends, little bear flags, and then continue to push to the downside. That's really been the story for the last couple months here for the DXY. No huge economic data today. We did get a slightly lower than expected jobless claims print coming through, but actually DXY slightly green on the day. That longer term trend, though, as Neil just alluded to, does not look particularly promising for that US dollar. Now, I do want to really quickly, before we go back to you guys, I want to talk about this situation with Google because I did read a little bit more into it. Here's the chart for GOOGL. Basically here, New York Times and The Information both had reports on this. What happened today was a federal judge here in the U.S., the Eastern District Court of Virginia, ruling that Google had broken the law to build its dominance over the ad technology system. So because of this ruling, it actually allows the court to potentially, I guess for ramifications there, for remedies, they could force Google to spin off parts of its ad tech business or break up the company. So this ruling could have some pretty big implications going forward. But before we send you back to the guys, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at ProfitX. Are you looking for unbeatable odds in the biggest games? Switch to ProfitX's peer-to-peer platform, where you set the price. No more one-size-fits-all lines. It's like crafting your own pegging strategy with real-time trading tools, and you can secure the best odds, track the action, and watch your plays come alive. Experience total control at every step. ProfitX, sports playing reimagined. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Check out ProfitX. Back to you.
Whether the markets are moving to the upside or the downside, tradertv.live is always on trend. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe to join us every single day the markets are open.
Thank you, Adara, for that. Wow, I just looked over at CoreWeave. I was like, if the market was tanking, I remembered we like CoreWeave at 36, but CoreWeave is not at 36. It's at 38. So it's a chance for this afternoon. I feel like that might have been a good opportunity on Alphabet at that bottom, but I feel like you don't want to just jump into a long when you don't know what the story is in that moment, didn't really know what it was. Ultimately, it usually doesn't put me in a bearish mood on these types of stocks. You're not even at a great level on that daily. I was sort of thinking to myself, like, do I want to buy Google on weakness as opposed to waiting around for Meta this Q? But I'm not going to deviate from the plan. NVIDIA, that 101 seller able to hold. And now we're retesting the low. So it's kind of a critical, obviously it's a critical moment in here. If we double bounce off the 100 level, then I add to the position, but it has to hold. I need to see it bounce off that $100 level. Just gonna adjust my stop. There you go. We bounce another time like this, then we look to add back into what we've taken off, which was about half. And if we don't, then we just break 100 and I'm out and take the L on NVIDIA. If you wanted to just scalp it to 101, fair enough, but that's not the way I play these on a mean reversion on an SSR name. Want to look for that bigger move. You are getting very close on UNH, as I heard Sharif say. He said 450. It bounced off the pre-market low to give you about $8 or $9 there. That was the exact moment that NVIDIA was coming to 100, so I didn't try that one. But we said if it breaks 450, 440 is the monster level on the daily. So you put a 4 in front of it, and I look for another trend reversion trade for a one-shot chance. Unfortunately, Hertz still looks about the same as it did before, but I promised if Apple still looked strong on the latest pullback, that we'd take a shot at it. Well, it's coming into that support it had at 195.5. So put up or shut up time. If Apple loses a bid, we're in trouble. I think is one of the big tech names that has been able to not succumb to this market weakness.
All right. Yeah. Apple, Palantir, the two strong names here for sure that you want to look for on any dip buy opportunities. You know, we took the opportunity to get out of the majority of this trade at the 50-period moving average, but we still have some on board right now. We have about 25% left of our total take down there. Again, out like 20% there, out another 10 or so as we go up. And then we have, I don't know, it's hard to see all of the fills up here, but if I zoom in, you can see we have 3 fills right here at 93.60. Look, I still think it goes. My next offer is at 93.95, actually above VWAP. Maybe I should change that. I was trying to get in front of 94. And then after that, man, we go to $95. And that's where I'm going to wait to see if we can get some more out on that one. It is 10:54. Again, everybody, we're going to throw you over to the midday show where probably some more small cap gappers right there as my guy yesterday, Sharif yesterday, crushing that whole low. And then there was OST. And then, I don't know, we talked about this earlier today as well. I had mentioned here on Webull that if we broke below, it was finished. There it goes, man, even straight from the day. I couldn't believe Webull was actually even up today, but it was, and not for long, says Webull, as it just falls right back down, now down that 10%. We'll take a look at that. There was TGL, was another name, Treasure Global, that was moving around a little bit today as well. And then we had, Hertz was another name, so that's 4%. HTZ right now, Hertz coming through. Yeah, so again, absolutely nailed it. We didn't trade it, but those of you that nailed that up there at $8, huge trade there for Hertz. As we zoomed back out and showed you that $8 was the jam, it got there just as the market was opening up, and really that's close enough to a retest right there. I mean, if you're looking for 8 short, then you're probably short 780. So that's going to be a nice retracement back down. Could have had your dollar club right there. But yeah, so far so good here today. We just have those 2 trades on board. I know Neil's traded a few more names than that, but at the end of the day, looking for the best opportunities. And the NASDAQ has fallen down. I wrote down TQs at 45. I didn't even sit there to take that. It did go down to 44.40 there. So today I was just more focused on individual names than the futures. Hopefully we'll look at the futures as we come back, into the afternoon, because this 200-period VWAP and the 50, you're looking short. I can't recommend the long right now on the futures, which is why I'm not averaging back into anything. I didn't get back into Palantir here, even though it's a level that I like, and we emptied out the clip up here. So we're going to still stop out on Palantir if it breaks 92, and then we'll just work on it after that. So yeah, so far, pretty good day today. Like I said, I'm actually just a little higher than where I was at 943. So I don't know where everybody else is. I don't know where you are with respect to that either. But right now, didn't do much for the last hour. We sat there, reloaded Palantir, and then didn't give anything back. We're up on Google, but this trade, we were really booming when it was going, and then we got out for flat, thankfully. And this is that thing we talk about with stop orders. It's like people say, I'm not trading with stop orders. Look, we got out before that happened. But at the end of the day, if you're still sitting in this, you take a phone call, you do whatever. Next thing you know, whoops, and there goes your day For me, could be there goes my month, depending on what kind of shares you got. So you got to be very, very careful on plays like that, right? So yeah, that's why I like to trade with the stop orders.
I think you have to use stop orders, but you need to place them in the right spot. And especially if you have a plan of action. I'll show you, like, it is, you know, like there's my stop out. I'm like, if it closes and breaks the prior bar above the volume weighted average price, that's going to be my out. Well, did it close the bar above the volume weighted average price? Nope, it didn't. That's because this one was wrong and that one was right. And I never got back into Alibaba. So unfortunately, what I liked for the best short didn't really, you know, it didn't materialize and we got into some longs. But just move on to the next trade. Right now it's NVIDIA at 100. So there was an order. For a split second, I thought it was at 100 even, but it was somebody was already bidding a chunk at 110, it seems. So like the 10-cent level had a big order in front of 100. So my guess is the 100 level, if you see it, you break it. If a lot of big size goes out in front of it and starts buying 10s and 20s, then oftentimes it's like, yeah, by the time it gets there, the people that are loading up at 10 and 20, they're just going to hit that liquidity at 100 to make sure they don't get slipped. So I would suspect there's going to be some scalpers a little bit more aggressively into the $1 level, or so the 101 level, you know what I mean, like 100 to 101. So the $0.50 is going to matter a little bit more. That even's going to matter a little bit more here on NVIDIA. I do still want to work back into Intel. We trailed out. It's back at the low. There was no shot to get to VWAP. The market doesn't seem strong enough. So I work with the low that we have. Yesterday's bottom is kind of syncing up with this little peak here at 1875. So that might be the spot that we get back in. I don't want to take a bottom break because Intel's, it's kind of too close. It's too close to its 52-week low to short a break at the low of the day. That's all. Like at this point, like at some point, you know, you're getting really, really tight to some of these bottoms on Intel. So you want to short. You know, I want to short pops instead of taking that absolute low. You're within like 1 day's move of its 52-week low, not all-time low. That's like, you know, the last time it was under here was like 2000 and what did we say, 12?
Intel?
We looked at
yeah. I think it's like a 40-year chart there on Intel.
At least, yeah.
We can go back here. I have the Eastern. We're going to throw it over to the midday. Yeah. Those of you asking if I'm in Palantir, just look at the bottom. Yes, we are. I am still in Palantir right now. It's going to be 2 for 2. Not an easy day trading for many. I hope you guys are okay. Yeah. So as Neil had mentioned here, this goes all the way back. Like I don't even know what to tell you about Intel. This is 1997. So that's where we are now. So if you sort of are just waking up here after 30 years, is that right? 97, 07, 17? Yeah, man, we're close enough to that. 28 years. Yeah, I'm just playing around with Ramin. Yeah, I know it's close enough to that. But there, means like it's 28. But yeah, right there. So 28 years holding on to Intel. They cut their dividend a while ago. And right now it's been an absolute nightmare of a 3 decades for NVIDIA, or for Intel. And I don't even want to call, I mean, do we even need to, you know, call up what NVIDIA looks like, or AMD or Tesla or anything like that? I mean, here's 99 on NVIDIA. How about $1 where it is now? So 100x there for NVIDIA compared to 0 for Intel. All right, it's 11:01. It's been a fantastic day. We want to thank all of you for watching. We're still long Palantir. You're probably still long NVIDIA. Let's go. Let's see what happens in this market, and we'll see you guys later. All right.
See you guys.
Ciao.